Peace. What's going on with it? This is not the best. I got two phones going on. One phone for YouTube, the other phone for Instagram. So if it looks like I'm looking up here, y'all know why. Looking down and then looking up, y'all know why. But I'm gonna try to keep it balanced or whatever. But so, and I'm in my son's room today with it. So, I like to make this video based off this book that I took notes over. I found that it would be an interesting book to bring balance, bring harmony, help people to use the heart chakra in realistic terms, relationships, the metaphysics of it, and really how to, for one, awaken yourself, and not to be cliche, but you know how they say the divine feminine, to really work with these in realistic degrees instead of just the mythological way of just saying it. You know what I mean? So, I got a lot of notes to go over, but I'm a read the notes from this book. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. Okay. I want to, read a lot of quotes and a lot of notes that I took from it, as well as, indulge in the metaphysics and the occultic type of aspects to how we can use this to uplift ourselves, therefore uplift humanity. So, and I'm gonna just start off with some quotes, just some random quotes. I just don't go in no certain type of order, right? So, the first one, I have: the masculinity in women is raising levels of the human character, appears as direction, clarity, purpose, and vision. So the masculinity, the masculine side of the woman, is direction, clarity, and purpose, and vision, right? Now that sounds pretty general, for the average person, right? Now let me say this before I even talk about masculinity and feminine. Masculine does not mean man, strictly, and feminine does not strictly mean woman. Both the woman and the man have masculine and feminine qualities. So sometimes I posted this thing on Twitter today. I can tell some people took masculine meaning man, and that's not the case. So all right, so now that that's out the way, because that's really the only reason I got that note. And these are just some of the notes I'm about to go over. Masculine and feminine poles between people create the flow between sexual feeling, i.e. electricity. So masculine and feminine poles, when you having a conversation with anybody, masculine and feminine poles are being balanced. This is the energy at play, right? So what I really want to stress is that if you're in a relationship, and what I really want to make this videos for is to open up the ego into a more open shape. Okay, so the masculine and feminine pole, if you're in a relationship, right, and you see an attractive man or woman that you're not in a relationship with, right? And let's just talk about that right quick. The thing is that self-discipline comes first, okay? Not only that, but when you see a beautiful man or a beautiful woman or a handsome man, the thing is to get the energy exchange. Okay, in respect to your own nature. Okay, you get the energy exchange by, hey, if I'm a man, I don't, practice polygamy, but I don't have a problem against it. But if I'm a man and I see a beautiful woman, right, It's the energy exchange of the woman simply representing beauty. That's a spark in an energy field. Okay? It's a twinkle in the eye. Right? So this is nonetheless inspiration. So we getting down to the meaning of man, woman, the roles, the true principles of man and woman. Because the man, woman, and child is what God really is. It's not like you can be just solo dolo throughout this whole lifestyle, no children and stuff like that. But the thing is that comes with a certain type of lifestyle, generally. You know, and by that I mean when you dealing with government, let's just say, a lot of people wouldn't have a deeper deeper trust for you if you don't have a son or a family to take care of, because your duties are that much more childish, let's just say. Not to say you're a child, but it's that much more it's that much lighter on responsibility, so it's not demonstrating responsibility, you know. So, and that's how a lot of people, especially Moors in government, look at it. But the thing is that regardless if you're in a relationship or not, right, we got to break this egotistical human mind frame, right? Because this is what a lot of people. That was one.
Hi.
What's up?
Yes,
There you go.
come on, Diego. Come on.
Did you want to say something? Oh, you probably don't.
Yeah, but no.
But
Come on.
yeah. So we got to break this egotistical aspect, right? This human mindset, right? So the thing is, we got to do it in love. As more as we know what love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is, comedic people or whatever, whoever, people who practice, you know, the study of strictly Egyptology or whatever, you know that the divine feminine has a certain importance. So what are we saying here? To make it realistic, if you're in a relationship, you can use your woman as that divine feminine. The thing is that if you're in a relationship and you start to sense or see or construe your mind to say, hey, there's another beautiful man or woman over there, and I feel like I can't look at her, and you know, you start to restrict senses. You know, how I would do it, or how I do it, is altering my mindset in a way that you don't want to restrict or suppress senses. What you want to do is have self-discipline about your senses, right? You don't want to deal with suppression. You don't want to deal with running away from thoughts and encaving yourself from a thought. You want to deal with self-discipline, which is learning how to harmoniously, come into fruition about this stuff. Moment by moment, feeling by feeling, you know. So if you see a beautiful man or woman and you're in a relationship, the thing is, according to my practices, is to, again, you know, not to, out of respect, you don't want to, eyeball, some other chick or dude, you know what I'm saying, as your partner, is right there, all that type of stuff. But you want to watch these subtle areas. Okay? This is an energy exchange. You just have to have discipline about it, right? You just have to know yourself and know how to construe energy exchange, right? Because women give you inspiration, right? They inspire you. They nurture energy. They nurture the mindset, right? So, and we about to go into how this deals with tantric levels, but we're going to deal with the lighter stuff first and kind of pity pat until we get to the deeper levels and where I'm really trying to get to, what I'm trying to really get to. But, so the next note I have is, It says 90% of people have an imbalanced aspect of the feminine and masculine. Only 10% are balanced. So 90% of people have an imbalance, meaning that if you're a man, chances are you're either more of a masculine man, like way more of a masculine man than you are feminine, or you're way more feminine than you are masculine, and vice versa for the woman. It's only 10% that's truly balanced, right? So what is this saying? That if you're, I'm gonna just explain myself best way. My life path is 6, right? That's healing, that's Reiki, yoga, right? Type of, aspects. I'm a Pisces. That's dreamy, energy, otherworldly. My moon is earthy, right? So I know how to, be direct, right? So the thing is, knowing myself is knowing that, okay, I have a lot of water in my chart, right? What is this, a feminine quality? What is that, the strongest principle, the strongest element? Water, force. So being that on a certain plane, being that the woman, right, we just gonna start simple. The woman is the feminine. That doesn't mean when I say feminine, again, we strictly talking about the woman. Okay? If you're more of a feminine man, you're more of a healer. You're more of a nurturing to society, meaning that you bring comfort, right? You simply bring healing. What is that? A doctor. What is that in other terms? A Reiki master, a Qigong master, a yoga teacher, whatever. You see, a therapist. That's an aspect of a feminine, masculine man. If you are a man that's a therapist, right? So we're not talking about something that's gay, right? I feel like I still need to say that, but so with my aspects being that my life path is 6, and all the other aspects, it's important to know that if you are more feminine, of a feminine masculine man than you are of a masculine feminine man, to know that you're likely to attract the opposite. So you're likely to attract a woman who can help balance you out, who's probably going to be more masculine feminine. You see what I'm saying? More masculine than she is feminine in many ways. And that doesn't mean she's going to have a goatee and all this type of stuff, but I'm simply saying that she's going to have to project herself, initiate herself, take control of certain situations if y'all in relationships, right? So in order to balance this stuff out, we gotta, and I'm just coming from a more manly aspect at this point, because this book is called The Way of the Superior Man, right? And again, it's basically for the man to learn how to initiate change, because if we want to see the world or the women rise, the world gonna change when the women change, or wherever they say the world rises when the woman rises. The men gotta initiate that though. You see what I'm saying? It ain't just like, oh, we waiting on the women. You know what I'm saying? Like what the women gonna do? Y'all gonna do more than cooking? It ain't just that. It's a metaphysical aspect, a spiritual aspect to this. So let's get into it. It says, and this is what a note that's key to this video. All the other notes that I kind of took was pity pat, but this is one of the notes that was key. The next time you notice yourself trying to fix a woman so that she no longer fill in a blank. When I say fill in a blank, that's an empty space. So let me start over. The next time you notice yourself trying to fix a woman so that she no longer fill in the blank, do whatever, relax. Give her love by teaching her and telling her that you love her when she is that way, whatever way she is. Now, so when you see a way, now as a man who's in a relationship or just any type of relationship with a woman, right? Intriguing relationship. As a man, you don't want to, the whole aspect is to raise the woman, give into the divine feminine within yourself, but you got to ritualize that in actuality. So how can we do this? When she's nagging, let's just say, now there's a balance, right? Because she has to know her balance too. This is just all on the man. Let's just say she's nagging or doing something that you don't like, right? Anything, from the smallest to the biggest. Don't try to change her, okay? That's a masculine thing. Now, what you're trying to do is nourish the feminine in a harmonious principle, because once you do that, the man himself can teach the woman properly how to surrender to her higher self, and that way know how to direct his spirit when he's indulging in sex and catapult his consciousness to a new realization, a new rejuvenation, a new excitement, a new willpower, a new type of I want to do for you, to on a new level. So that's the ultimate goal. But you see that the woman has directions to follow too. So though I'm saying man, there's homework for the woman too. Or the feminine aspect is what, if you want to say, if you're not, straight. So, which is a whole nother fucking aspect. But, so let me go over that one more time just so I can reiterate some of the thoughts that I want to say again. Say still. The next time you notice yourself trying to fix your woman so that she no longer nags or does something that's annoying, relax and give her love by touching her and telling her that you love her when she is that way, whatever way that's annoying you. Now, this is a metaphysical practice, a technique. You're doing this for one. As a man, your purpose, your direction, you're sturdy. You are to show the way. You're to not just beat a block. Don't do it. Won't work by words. Don't think that words is going to comfort or put the fire out, if you want to say. You know what I'm saying? So we can learn how to blend into this as mist, and then you raise this fire. It's a certain sequence. So when you see your woman going through her mental rage, if she's on her cycle, nagging, starting like that, what you want to do is work on softening that sphere. Okay? Softening that sphere so that you can penetrate with love. That's the only way her behavior is likely to change. I'm not saying this is the only way. This is for most people, what I'm saying, type of thing, which is pretty much 98% everybody almost, but because everybody almost messed up. But so what you want to do is, and this is the ego, right? This is how to a technique to how to awaken the divine feminine if you're in a relationship, right? So what you want to do is, in these type of ways, stop a lot of arguments. These type of ways, they help reflection. This is the best way to help somebody see themselves and work with themselves in a way to be like, okay, I like how they did that. I like, this is coming from the woman. I like how he handled me. This is, I like the love, because most times that's what they're really mad about. It's not really what they literally saying out their mouth. It's really the love or the lack of it. It's literally that for most women. Like, literally, bro, that's it. Like, how men don't understand women, so-called, is because we looking for the words, and we I did that. What are you talking about? I took out the trash. What are you talking about? I did that. What are you talking about? I don't understand. What are you talking about? It trying to get direct. But it's not. It's more than words. Words are too physical, and it's more than just imagination. That's just one compartment of the mind, right? And there's books about the imagination, but there will never be, when it comes to women, as far as when it comes to women, take it one step at a time. Okay? When she's nagging, what you want to do is you have to control the energy, right? You as a man, right? Or the masculine person in whatever type of relationship you in, whether you straight or gay, because masculine just don't mean man, and feminine just don't mean woman. So hopefully they stop that. But so what you want to do as a man is you want to nurture or show her how to nurture by calming your own ego and not projecting, emanating your words, your preferences on her. Now, what you can do is give advice, right? You don't want to project on her. See the wordplay. You don't want to project on her. You can give advice. You can help construct softly, right? But what you don't want to do is penetrate in terms of energy, right? Because at that, you got to remember, when she's coming like that, this is like fire water. This is rage. You know what I'm saying? It's like the strongest force plus burst plus like all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? So you want to basically start by degree 1, nurturing the energy, nurturing the mindset, humbling it. Okay, that's sort of the first step. Okay, this is crazy. Somebody can get their car in the truck. But so it goes on to say, my notes. It said, practice love instead of trying to bring an end to the quality that bothers you. The love you magnify may realign her behavior. You can't escape the tussle with the feminine. Learn to find humor in the unending emotional drama that the feminine enjoys so much. Right? So the feminine aspect, if it's divine feminine, if it's higher than the masculine, don't think that your words or somehow you can constrain this. Right? The woman came first in terms of physical aspect in this realm. Right? Men grew out of the androgynous phases and strictly became men. Right? So basically the energy started to disintegrate and have separations between it. Right? Same thing. A dick is a clitoris is a dick. Same thing, inverted, different states, different perspectives, different time frames, different people, if you ain't androgynous. This is about working with love in degrees that's respectable to your own nature. Now, what do I mean by that? That don't mean to go out and do the most extravagant thing if that's going to make you so uncomfortable that what you can't even follow up with that. You can't, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? You out here gassing shit, talking about you going to do this. You do it one time for the woman, she going to expect you to do similar things to that. If you fall back, she going to be like, yo, I thought you was big ball and shot calling you. That's what you was giving me. You know what I'm saying? Can we build or no? You know what I'm saying? So you want to do it what's in respect to your own nature. Okay? So that says many things. That also goes to say if you are if you deal with, older people or younger people, in respect to the ages, if you deal with older people or younger people, you have to take in consideration to the reality or the actuality of the consciousness between each other, right? Meaning that you have to work with love in a certain type of way, let alone their natal chart. You know what I mean? So that goes for anybody. But, you know, it's a certain way that you need to work with love, and that's in respect to your own nature, degree by degree. Okay? And that degree could be a day, could be a year, could be a whatever, you know. But try to treat it situation by situation, none the least. Okay? That's the easiest way to measure it out. That's the easiest way to always implant it on your mind, right? So I'm going to read that note one more time, and this might be some long videos. Practice love instead of trying to bring it into the quality that bothers you. So whatever she's nagging about, you know, practice love. And by that means don't project, don't emanate, don't try to capture it. You know what I'm saying? Because what she gonna do? She already gonna fight back, likely, right? Unless you already established in, you know, showing your self-worth, you know. But none the least, the feminine, divine feminine is divine feminine. You ain't never know when you gonna get hit with it. So the thing is that it goes on to say, the love you magnify may realign her behavior. You can't escape the tussle with the feminine. Learn to find humor in the unending emotional drama the feminine enjoys so much. Right? They love to talk on the phone. They love to do the drama. They love hip hop. You know, it's a balance to things. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance to things. But it has to be directed. So, but we're gonna get into that too. If there are times when you look down or not into someone's eyes, or times when your chest or solar plexus becomes tense or contracted, these are signs of an unskillful reaction. So if you can't look somebody in the eyes, or if you get that little feeling that when somebody says something, that it kind of shock your solar plexus, and it get kind of contracted, your breathing kind of, you got to do one of those. You know what I'm saying? You get the little butterfly bubble gut type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's signs of an unskillful reaction. Okay. So you want to work with these, and we're going to get into that too. But you want to work with these every time you see it. You want to work with these in different type of ways, but mostly you want to basically breathe, and this is just in terms of basic breathing. Breathe and imagine that energy black going away. Okay? Because what this can do is over time, that energy, your nerves can get used to that. And this will form in, it's like burning your DNA, the telomeres on your DNA. It burns your DNA. What does fear do? Fear kills, right? That was a shock of fear that hit your nerves because of an unskilled reaction. Now what you want to do is begin to handle it like a master. Step one, breathe, and what you already do in the first place. But what you want to do is begin to handle the situation by handling yourself first. Worry about yourself first, right? Handling yourself first, controlling yourself, then control the situation, right? You want to, when you emanate an energy, you want to be able to express from it comfortably, right? This comes by way of breathing. You don't want to project too much, right? Every moment, right? It's kind of like you projected the energy, but when the energy comes out, you want to have it like this. You know, you want to have you like this behind it, you know, so you already projected it and you can control it, right? You're going to naturally project it because you're constantly thinking, constantly knowing things, and constantly breathing, right? So you have to harmonize it, okay? Some people project, in which they project so much that the energy, instead of being like this, after they project it, instead of being like this, there's never a be like this. They were never that humble. They were never that subtle to work with themselves. They project it and get caught up in what they're saying. And it's like, yeah, they get start lying and start saying all types of stuff that don't make sense than what they just said, right? So you have to be humble to your own ego in terms of energy and mindset. Okay. And that's predominantly what you're doing as a man when you seeing this, because remember, life is a ritual, right? Life is a ritual. Use the basics. If you don't have a woman, use your sister. If you don't have a sister, use your mama. If you don't have a mama, use the woman on TV that you want to choose to say, hey, I fuck with you, and I'm gonna use your way of life because I see you or some woman at work or somebody. Talk to them. Have this conversation with them. Be like, yo, like, I ain't trying to have that type of polygamous relationship or a relationship with you at all, nothing like that, but I fuck with your character. And this goes for man and woman. I fuck with your character, right? I see you like this, the divine feminine, divine masculine. I want to have you as a friend. And, you know, hopefully that you can find somebody that, you know, we can both grow. You ain't got to be me. I ain't asked for a relationship, but, you know, balance it out type of thing. So, and the thing is, in respect to the people, to the next mindset, because you don't want to just ask anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to just ask anybody. But even that, though, you know what I'm saying? Because it could be Bonquisha eating at McDonald's. That's dumb as hell. But she got a fat ass, perfect titties. Start where you got to start. Start where you got to start. In respect to your own nature. In respect to your own nature. So if it makes sense for you, cool, do that. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that it's no certain the way, like somebody, there's imaginary man or imaginary woman that you got to wait for. You know what I'm saying? You have to really break it down, like how your mind is broken down in compartments, how the English language has broken down the mind. Now we can say, hey, now we can look at everything and see how all the pieces is broken down, because that language is better than ours. That language is better than this. That language, I fuck with that one because of harmony. But ours is broken down. We can see all the pieces. Okay, so if you gotta just start where you gotta start. It don't matter if all the pieces together or not. You see what I'm saying? And honestly, when you start from the bottom, it's better than starting from the middle, because if you made a phone from scratch and you had to pass it off from a certain point, they had to, you know, that person had to start off where you left off. But you still know how to start off, and they just know how to start off where you left off. Think about who in a better position when they say, okay, go, make a phone from scratch. You see what I'm saying? Like when it's, you know, when the next person don't want to provide for you no more. When the system don't want to provide for you no more. When somebody don't want to give you that type of love no more. That type of love that you outgrew when you went on to somebody else and you try to come back, like, that type of love don't feel the same no more because you outgrew. Right? So this is all an energy exchange. Right? So when doing anything, make sure you're connected to the source of your deepest realization or deepest wisdom. Okay? When doing anything, make sure you're connected to the source or deepest realization or deepest wisdom. This doesn't mean you have to be serious all the time, because laughing actually helps people usher them into them higher selves, because laughing is a subtle energy of the heart, and that's what you're trying to do this for. You're trying to use your mind direction to get to the divine feminine heart, right? So in order to act from this realization, this deepest realization or wisdom, sometimes means to stop being so serious. I mean, don't mean not be serious, but add in the effect or the energy of laughter in the situation when need be. You got to play the occultist here, right? Right? It's not necessarily be funny because the energy is stale. No, sometimes it's be funny even when the energy is cool, because that's what gives it a breakthrough. That's what allows what you just build up to soak in and allow them to raise up and soak in and build however they built, and you can continue to do. They're not gonna take in everything, but continue to do that, right? So the laughing, like a funny teacher. Of course, you're in class learning something serious, but it's the laughing aspect that takes it from the mind. Because with the feminine energy, it brings it into the body. Like music, when you dance and you start to dance, that's a feminine. Dancing is feminine. Music is feminine. You start to get into the body. You start to get out the head, the masculine, the bullheaded thing, and get into the heart, the feminine principle self, the feminine principle of the soul. This is the masculine part of the soul, where the pineal is, the seat of the soul. This is where the soul is. This is the seat of it. It's all connected. It's all me. It's all you. It's all, my head's connected to my shoulders. It ain't, hey, Kill over there, you see that Kill head? Yeah, but his legs was tripping the other day though. It ain't different parts. It ain't, I come separate. You know what I'm saying? It's your head, the masculine part, the seat of the soul. Then it's the feminine, the other part of the soul. All these is soul. All the spirits reside in organs. Like, you got to think of it that way. I'm gonna just say this because I'm making a video on this too. Your spleen, which is way off topic, but your spleen, well, it's really not. But your spleen deals with loyalty on a psycho-spiritual level. So you can measure, hey, you got a friend that's hella loyal. You ride, they do this. They so loyal in every aspect of life. Strong spleen. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to, and I'm gonna make a whole nother video on how that is. You see what I mean? As far as the whole, the principles of the spirit and stuff like that. But you got to look at it in a grounded sense like that, because a lot of these people is really just taking their own theories and running off with it like it's the truth. Especially since Kevin Samuel died, rest in peace to him. Everybody think they know what happened, and everybody know what happened about Anunnaki, 50 billion, 550,000 billion years. Everybody know, so called. It's time to stop reaching, because we pulling hamstrings and we still hurt, we still broke, we ain't doing nothing. Like, we're not working harmoniously with the next degree, right? So okay. It says, never change your mind. No. It says, never change your mind just to please your woman. Trust your wisdom. People won't trust you if you don't trust your own core and intent. They may love you though, right? So, when your woman is giving you suggestions, sometimes, remember, women are predominantly emotional, so they don't mean what they say a lot of times. It's really the love aspect that you got to penetrate, right? Especially in an argument, right? So it says, never change your mind just to please your woman, right? If you got a purpose, stick to it. Don't go astray from her, because you're showing how much she can change you. She's testing you. How much can she control you? If she can control you, you don't look too sturdy. You're not looking like a man. You see what I'm saying? You're not looking assertive. You're not looking like something that can penetrate something at any moment. She's looking like you or anybody else can come grab your mind and say, hey, I think you should do this. You're like, yeah, I think we should. You see what I'm saying? There's a certain quality of a masculine principle, and that's purpose, in which everybody has, man or woman. But as a man, this is a certain attraction. Purpose, direction, intent, that's a certain attraction. What is thought? Intent. What is thought? It comes out of the waters, the noon, the feminine part. So the masculine is always the yang to the yin. Anytime you hear yang, that's the masculine. When you hear yin, that's feminine. Right? And even that feminine, that yin, is masculine to something else. Meaning that everybody's ego, whether you're man or woman, you have to subdue it in some type of way. Right? So there's a divine feminine, divine masculine in everybody. Right? So your purpose must come before your relationship. Now this goes to the men. Okay? Your purpose must come before your relationship. There's going to be different notes expounding on why that is as I read this, but I will say that your purpose in relationship should be the same thing at the end of the day, right? At the, when it's all said and done, right? When you got the goal and you're going further to continue the mission, right? Now, as a man, the purpose, and we're going to talk about the women too, the purpose is the first emanation of life. It's intent, it's direction, whatever name you want to give it. Okay? It's all the same thing. Now, let's just say that, let's just follow the notes because I don't want to get ahead of notes. Because I'm going to expound at the right time. So your purpose must come before your relationship. Because you want to have purpose in your relationship. Now we're going to get in some notes that might hurt some people's souls when I read this. Because some baby mamas, some baby daddies might be hurt. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But, we get my poor connection. What I just said might not align with what I just said. And that might not align with what I just said. But the way a man penetrates the world should be the same way he penetrates his woman. Not merely for personal gain or pleasure, but to magnify love, openness, and depth. Right? So you should penetrate the world the same way you penetrate the woman. Not only in sex, but in terms of energy. You ever seen people who be like, dang, you always mad. You ain't get no pussy last night? You know what I mean? Dang, you ain't got no woman? How many, what you the 40-year-old virgin? Type of thing. Right? So, in which that's true to a degree. Right? Because they cutting off union with themselves. Okay, I'm not saying you have to have a man or a woman to find, wholeness in yourself, perfection and completeness in yourself. Because there are about 10 billion women on this planet that's going to die without a man. These days. You see what I'm saying? So, just because the ratio, and just because polygamy is no longer around, just because purpose is not around for polygamy to be around. You know what I'm saying? Polygamy ain't going to come into the holistic sense when the ego drops a barrier. That ain't going to be for a good minute. Like, don't count on it. So, so again, it says the way a man penetrates the world should be the same way he penetrates his woman. Right? So if you don't have no woman to penetrate, you always pissed off, crabby, making arguments on videos, lives, probably because you're not showing yourself a certain type of humbleness, a certain type of sincerity, a certain type of, you don't have a woman to help nurture you in that way, type of thing. So you're not dealing with the feminine aspects of yourself, obviously, right? So, or at least in the nurturing degrees. The divine feminine is the worst type of smack to the face you want to get, the worst type of punch, the worst type of bullet you want to take. Because it's the bullet that'll never stop. It's the bullet that'll never stop hurting if you let it never stop hurting. If you don't know how to harmonize with it, type of thing. It's the truth that's always going to hurt you if you don't know how to come to terms with reality, basically. That's divine feminine in basic terms, because we got to think about this. When we say tantra, a lot of people just think tantric sex, like it's just for sex. No. Tantra is life. Every situation, moment, thought, energy, aspect, organ of life. It's how to have a orgasmic, how to be high off life, how to have an orgasmic, intimate relationship, realization with every moment that you know how to take all of that, like it's bullets of lead, and you know how to take them and turn them into gold. Like, yeah, yeah, give me more, feed me more. You know what I'm saying? So, in which that's the way that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. It says most men's ultimate reason for doing anything has to do with discovering their deepest truth, enjoying freedom and love, and giving their fullest gifts. So that sums up the definition, or what man is to be or become, or what every man should aspire to be, right? Discover their deepest truth, which I don't see why you would fight that. Well, some people fight that every day, but you know how it is. Enjoy freedom and love in giving their fullest gifts. Right? Enjoy freedom. It might be a problem for some people that you see on the internet. It's just a controlling world out here. But I also have, and I got pages to read off. We might have to do a part 2. 3, 4, 5, but nah. This European mindset of relationships. This European mindset is simply this. You argue over going 50-50 on rent, 50-50 on anything, and you've degraded your values of what a relationship, they've been so watered down to that aspect, instead of working to have a trust fund baby, maybe learning to get the land back, and working with more serious degrees. Because when you're dealing with people who can't get past top tier relationship principles and standards, like 50-50 on rent and arguing with that, you're probably talking about somebody who went and got the jab. Not saying that's a bad thing, but you're probably talking about somebody who can't get past the arguing stage in life. Not saying that's a bad thing, but you're probably talking about somebody who, the list goes on. You see what I'm saying? So, this European mindset is just like English, right? Our mind has been broken down. English is a broken language. Our mind has been broken down in every which aspect to where doing the next, trying to piece too much together seems like too much. When at one point in time, when we was kings and queens, like, if you were familiar with the word melanin, you're probably familiar with what I'm saying. If when we was kings and queens, during that time we governed the land. In realistic terms, governing the land, who does that? Who is the next realization, the next world that does that more? Right? So, okay, that's an aspect to, take in. Some people got a hard time, being too stuck. Like, we gonna make another video for that. I don't even want to deal with that, But so this European aspect, we got to get out of this. Anybody past who was that? Seven Bomar said it. What was that? No, that was Seven Bomar. That was Bobby Hemmett that said that. He said anybody past 19 should not be celebrating Valentine's Day. Why? Not let alone the history. All right, we just gonna skip past the history because that's just nothing but bloodshed. For one, that's kind of an initiation process for the teenage years to learn how to love. At the adult stage, you should be talking about land. You should be worrying about how to make intimate with those king and queen aspects of life, instead of trying to be the little Egyptian boy with the thing on his side talking about, Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, nah. You know what I mean? Like, that Valentine's Day is not based around actual principles that's going to help us stop complaining. It's going to help us rise in love. For real, for real. Because we're talking about what? Flowers, and you're talking about chocolates and little stuff, it's a metaphysical principle. Chocolates, it actually makes makes you happy. Release, happy principles, dopamine, serotonin, all this type of stuff, right? But when we talking about all the other ways, the get the card and all, you got to do all this type of stuff. It's some people that, I'm not saying flowers is not nice, but there's if you have a certain perspective about it, it's time to ditch that. If you're already a certain position in life off gate, i.e. your age, it's time to ditch that. So, like, you wouldn't have your son on titty milk for the rest of his life, would you? You see what I'm saying? After a certain age, even when you get old, it's harmful to the mind, to the body. So just think of it like that, because the European mindset of what we call a relationship, for one, it fucking must die. For two, when I say that, this comes with maturity. When I say maturity, don't think seriousness. It's gonna come serious off gate. So don't worry about taking it serious. It's gonna sound serious. You gonna feel when that truth hit. You gonna feel when them nerves start to, you gonna feel when that bubble gut, type of thing. You get that unskilled response in your stomach, right? So don't worry about the seriousness so much. Worry about how you can harmonize with that 1 degree, that first thought that made you comfortable before you get so serious. So for every serious degree, in order for you to harmonize in a more mature way, you have to, for every serious thought, have 2 or 3 surrounding thoughts, actions, settings that help harmonize or make that softer. So laugh a little, right? This is why people like to watch Bobby so much, because not only was he humorous, but his humorous aspect was able to penetrate the mind and heart in a way that serious information can actually soak in. And it don't seem like somebody's just in a room just saying, black and white tie, today is Tuesday, the topic is, like Manly P. Hall. Some people can't stand listening to his videos because it sounds like he's in a class. This just, today is Monday. We're going to talk about occult principles, the higher knowledge, the higher realms of life. Like, nobody, like, it's dull. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, they made that. And when I say they, society has made that in a way that you're only going to find the knowledge you need to know in books you don't want to read, in books that you find boring, right? So they made it so against yourself in many other ways that not only does it seem harmful to your truth, your beliefs, but even energetically, it's harmful because it's so boring. It's like going to school and you don't know, like, there's nothing soaking in because you don't know how to relate it to yourself. Relating it to yourself is the feminine aspect naturally. Just like music. When you listen to music in the background, that classical soft music or some lo-fi hip-hop is good if you like that type of, hip-hop or rap or, even gangster music. That's why that classical music is good, because it helps penetrate the heart, the emotional intelligence. So that way the emotional intelligence can know how to dance its way to the higher plane. Because knowledge is good, but knowledge is just the stick. It's just the body. You got to have the emotional intelligence, the music, to make you groove. You got to move. Right? Some people killed that aspect of their life to where they just sit on the couch all day. They don't act on nothing. They say what needs to be changed, but that paradigm has ended. You can see who's just simply doing that. You see what I'm saying? Off gate. Right? So it's time to really act on the degrees that you know are harmonious to your growth. So don't try to compare yourself to the next person in any type of way. Right? That judgment is, once your judgment goes down, that's another way you can use measure how well you've been working with the divine feminine. Right? So what okay, let's just continue. And what I also have, we about to get into that. So the whole aspect, the European aspect of, somebody being yours, that's my girlfriend, that's my man, that's my wife, that's, of course, you say that, you know what I'm saying? But how some people take that as to a way that where they say it to the point where it's so unconscious now. They say it so much where, that's my man, that's my man, that's my wife. What Will say, that's my wife. He said that so much that he just knew that, that's the only thing he needed to say. He said it so much that he forgot why he was even saying it in the first place, because it really didn't have a reason or that substantive of a reason. You see what I'm saying? So the whole aspect of the European aspect of thinking or possession, because that's emanation, that's projecting, right? You want to work with the divine feminine yourself, i.e. subduing yourself to your higher self, your lower self to your higher self, okay? So that's the divine feminine. So you don't need to think just strictly women. Some people need to talk of, we talking about women, because we need the upliftment of women. Some people need to talk about, we ain't talking about women, because we need the upliftment of women. I.e., we need egos destroyed, and that women gonna have to destroy her ego too. So it might get ugly for her and for you. Hey, but it's like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is the woman. This is the woman, and this is you. This is the woman, and this is you. She's coming from two aspects. You're the branch off. You're coming from one. You're just going to have to deal with the two aspects, okay, if you're the man or the masculine principle in the relationship, right? Whether you're a man or the woman. I'm talking about, again, you could be gay. So we're not just talking about masculine means man for the umpteenth time. Okay. So, the priority of the feminine in men and women is the flow of love in relationships. The priority of the masculine in men and women is the mission which leads to freedom. Right? So, love and freedom. Right? So, well, let's continue, because we got a lot. Ultimately, true love. Let me see. Ultimately, true love and true freedom are the same. However, the journey of the masculine and the feminine, of this unity of love and freedom, is very different. Next note. Men who know their purpose can raise their children better than men who don't. Okay? Men who know their purpose can raise their children better than men who don't. Okay? So if you ask a man, what is your purpose? They don't know. They got children. I'm not saying that this book is speaking the one and only truth. I'm just saying analyze the situation. Okay? Now, again, when a man doesn't have direction for himself, he doesn't have direction for his family, obviously, because you always got to worry about yourself. This is why a lot of men can be rootful or cheer for polygamy, because they're here for purpose, and the woman can't handle a lot of what men have to handle these days. So the woman, if the man is here for purpose, direction, and a woman may not be able to handle all of what he may require or ask for, you know, a high quality man or a low quality man type of thing. You know, some women can't handle high quality, some women can't handle high quality, all that type of thing, right? So if the woman or the feminine person in that relationship, the feminine principle in that relationship, cannot handle what their partner is asking for, or is their purpose is here for, if it's too much, this is when polygamy is ushered in. This is one reason why polygamy is ushered in. Because when we get down to the ratio of things, women double that when it comes to men. Triple that, damn near. So, like I said, there's going to be way more women who die without a man for a reason. Because there's way more women than there are men. Now, I know you can look up sometimes what's the population or ratio of white and black. A lot of these statistics lie. No cap. Because what happens is that if you look on search engines that are not censored, you can find information from universities, doctors, principals, or universities, doctors, scientists, all these people, other news stations, all these people, that, you know, the birth rate of certain races are 0. Right? So you can't, let's not use, you know, Google for the answer of everything, or this book for the answer of everything, but this is to mature the people who are ready to be mature in certain aspects. And if you pass these aspects, great. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let's say men who know their purpose. Okay, well, shit. It's not the amount of time, but the quality of the interaction that most influences a child's growth. Right? And this goes for people who may have a lot of children, who might not be able to love the next child the same as the other, or penetrate the same type of love, right? But it's not about the amount of time, it's about the quality of the interaction. Because every eye is different. Everybody has their own nature as to how they see and grow with love. Okay? I.e., when you bring it into more mature terms, again, which a lot of people are not ready for in terms of polygamy, this is why polygamy happens. Okay? When there's a man of great purpose, a lot of direction, a lot going on. You see, there sometimes come a need for different types of feminine energy. And let's just get out of the human aspect right quick, because I can talk slow and simple all day, but now we about to get more into the occultic chaotic for a second, because that's the other side of this video that I always want to reintroduce. Right? You might have a spouse, if you're in this polygamous aspect, right, that's only there for sex, is only there for one thing. Okay, so fucking be it. Right? You have to turn that into gold by turning it into gold in yourself first, for the situation that somebody else might not be to handle, might not be able to handle if they had the chance to manipulate the situation. Right? So, i.e., some people, if you're starting a government and you say, hey, I'm the perfect person to be a judge and nobody else is fit, I think that's the best way to go about it. You're not going to have somebody else control the ball. You're not going to have your woman make the decisions all the time, right? Because that naturally takes away from substance, true substance, from the man and the situation, right? Because just planning things is a masculine thing, right? Not saying that men do it. We can't, when we say masculine, it's not just men. But when I say masculine, predominantly means men. Okay, and there are some women who act more like men than men. You see what I'm saying? So, let me see. Not only is her simple existence a test for you, but not only is her simple existence a test for you, but one of her deepest pleasures in intimacy is testing you, and then feeling you are not moved off course by her challenge, right? So her simple existence is testing you, which is a subconscious pleasure for her. Let's get more into that later as we read. It says, keeping your word is a masculine trait. Fair enough. Right? So that goes for everybody. We're not just talking about men. Right? It's a masculine trait. Keeping your word is a masculine trait. My next note, and for the people just not coming on, this is not in a certain order. For the feminine, the truth is a thin concept compared to the thickness of her flow of feelings. Don't believe the literal content of what your woman says unless love is flowing deeply and fully in the moment when she says it. They speak from their current feelings. Women are not liars, though. Women are not liars, though. Women are not liars, though they seem to be to men. Their nature goes with the flow and changes their mind. This is why men must ultimately be responsible for making his decisions based on the deepest concepts he can fathom. Okay? So, from the top, it basically says, when a woman talk about just be real with me, I can take it. Just be honest with me, I can take it. Nah, fam. You know what you asking for? You asking for a fight with Thanos, and you ain't even know that was him when you walked up to the door and knocked on the door because his son picking on your son. And now here your ass go unequipped. I'm talking about the divine feminine Thanos. Who you talk about, the Tiamat, all those aspects of life. The Lilith, all those type aspects of all that shit. Right? The different aspects of the divine feminine in a holistic sense. you got to work with this stuff in degrees, and sometimes words is past words. Words is a physical thing, so that means it's a masculine thing, right? So, and remember, that means it's a yang, which means it has a yin. And if the cycle always continues, that yin is a yang to something else, right? So, words are not always going to be the way. Okay? After words penetrate so much, you have to do something else. That means work in terms of energy and mind and spirit. Okay, so again, it says they speak from their current feelings. Women are not liars, though they seem like it to men. Their nature goes with the flow and changes their mind. This is why men must ultimately be responsible for making his own decisions based on his deepest concepts he can fathom. The deepest concepts that you can fathom. Meaning that when she says something, it's not what she says a lot of times. Most times, it's not what she said. When she says something is the problem, it's not what she says most times. Okay? What this is because your woman is a reflection of you, right? This means that you have to teach your woman in a certain way, not strictly by way of words like do this, do that. Remember, we talked about how you shouldn't do that, right? Instead, penetrate with love and usher in what you want to do through that, right? Right, you know what I mean? They can't say what they want. They don't have. They're predominantly emotional than they are logical. Not saying that they don't have any logic or they don't know how to express themselves, but they deal with the divine feminine, which is more chaotic than it is more structural. So, which is more imaginative, highly more spiritual than it is more, lower self type of thing. So, what this is that we just gonna continue. The man has to deal with the deepest concepts that he can fathom, meaning that you have to know whatever you know, even if you feel like you truly don't know, whatever it is that you know that is the underlying thing past her words, deeper than her words, other than her words. You have to act on or aim for that, but it has to be through love. So through love, let's not get cliche with it. It has to be in a way that you have to subdue yourself to the divine feminine. Not saying praise, you gotta give me your need. When I say that, let's be human, let's be grounded with this. Right? That means you have to bypass your ego. Ego is a masculine part of self. Right? It's the thing that's a box. Deals with structure, comfort. It deals with, it doesn't like change. Or the divine feminine, because the feminine means change. Right? The black hole, we don't know what's behind the black hole. The continuous infinite. The change, right? So, i.e. the pussy, right? So, you have to work like some people, even men, but predominantly women, but even men. Well, it's a lot of men that use this to get pussy. The whole, we gotta lift your sister, and they put their foot in their mouth to where they can't even take the next step with what needs to be done. Truly, they man got the first base, which was really home plate, because they may have hit, they may have got the pussy, and then dip off. They may have got to the deepest roots of the treasure and dipped off. Face God, seen God, said, all right, hey, I see them, hey, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. But that's the way of lack of self-discipline. Okay. That's kind of like saying, like, the first date. And I just got asked this question, but the first date, would you say that's too taboo? My occult mind will say no. But dealing with today's times, yes. Because nobody's mature enough to know when that time needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like looking at the ancients and saying, hey, y'all know how to bring a child, a specific child, into this realm. A specific people. When those people meet up, you don't think the world don't want them to and create the next whatever we need? Especially if they know, yes, go ahead, fuck. I don't care if it was, you need to be in an occult mindset enough to be like, hey, I don't care if I'm in a relationship with you. If that needs to be done and that man ain't me and y'all meet, you need to fuck because it ain't about me. He needs to stick his dick inside you. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's what needs to be happening, but this is the type of mentality that we need to take on to get outside of this human mindset of what we think needs to be done, what has been going on. Because for one, we ain't been getting nowhere. For two, it's the European mindset. For three, the only way for you to get out of European mindset is to step into your own occultic mindset, which is your dogmatic mindset. It's the same thing. Dogma means your principle. It means opinion. So if dogma means opinion and principle, you're stepping into your occultic mindset, what you know you need to do. That's your dogma, what you prefer to do. That's your private life, right? Dogma, just say private life, right? That's what private law is. It's dogma. When they say private law, they're saying dogma. They just saying it in that aspect, so you don't, make it make sense, and then relate it to a whole bunch of legal lawful terms, and thinking they just talking about that. You see what I'm saying? So, let me chill out. Right. So it says, the masculine grows by challenge. The feminine grows by praise. It's always better to call the glass half full than half empty. Right? So the man grows by challenge. The woman grows by praise. Simple enough. Compliment your women daily. Right? And to the degrees that, again, you don't want to get somebody big-headed. I remember one time, and this ain't got nothing to do with feminine man and woman relationship, but I told my little partner, I broke down basically in terms that he was a god. Right? This is years ago. He took that information and went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of crazy. Actually, this happened to a couple people. I ain't gonna lie. But so some people are not ready for that information. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, let's just say you're dealing with an older person, or you may be dealing with a younger person, or somebody to where you can measure. It may not be a younger or older person, but a friend that's different in consciousness than you, that you can measure out easily how distant your consciousness is, and you can learn how to take step by step in terms of growing a close relationship, if need be, with them, or if you feel compelled to with them, right? So the whole, praise, yes, do it daily. Do it in respect to, again, your own nature and your partner's nature. Okay? So, if you've been with your partner and you working in a relationship, your partner gonna know when you capping, when you projecting too hard and all that type of stuff. That just means that, yeah, you went out 10, 20 degrees. I thought you was only gonna do 1, 2, 3. But you gonna keep it chill. But you have to keep it in respect to the situation, i.e., your nature and your partner or your partner's nature. Okay. Praise is the literal food for feminine qualities. If you want your woman to grow in radiance, health, happiness, love, beauty, and power, and depth, praise these qualities daily. Never suggest your woman to fix her problems. To ask a woman to analyze her mood, she can, but won't be happy, because when you know or feel you can figure her out yourself, she's happiest. Okay? Use your best wisdom to point. Use your best wisdom and point to act from there. Okay? So don't suggest your woman to fix her own problems. Okay? Control is a masculine thing. Now, you got to take in, especially in these times, you got to remember, everybody watching this video, we is working from the mud, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, the responsibilities for our people today are seem more heavier, because we think everything is out of control. Nothing's in control. So the basic thing for a lot of men these days is 10 times the weight opposed to how it was back then. Because some of us are breaking generational curses, which is a hell of a work in itself, you know what I mean, for one lifetime. You know, that's so many things. You see what I'm saying? So if you watching this video, don't use this to, hey, you hear him, or hey, you hear what he said? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't that. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it is to a degree. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta, again, learn how to bring laughter into it if you truly want to resonate. Truth told in a joking. But you gotta, it's an art to that. You know what I'm saying? So, man. So, I might have to. Okay. Anyway. It says the best way to help serve your woman is by helping her surrender. Right? So now we get into the aspect of submit and surrender. Right? The best way to help serve your woman is by helping her surrender. To trust the force of love so she can open her heart. So she has to surrender to the trust of the force of love. Right? So obviously, if you're in a relationship, hopefully y'all love each other or are aiming to love each other more. Because not everybody come into a relationship with the same energy and shit like that, though it's a divine thing. So, let me see, hold on. So, the best way to help serve your woman is by helping her surrender to trust the force of love so she can open her heart. Don't analyze her blocks. Okay, this is what I had a problem with. Okay, so it still be catching myself, doing this shit. But don't analyze her blocks. Meaning, let's just finish the note. It says, don't project your ways of doing things onto your woman. Encourage her to be as open as an ocean. Love has its own intelligence. So if love is the highest frequency, and you aiming for love, just love of life itself, don't you think love is God or Allah or whatever God you choose? You think you got more intelligence than your higher self right now? No, the fuck you don't. Because that's you saying that you already your best self, even in points that you have yet to see. Now, you can say that and you can't, but ultimately, it's like saying you're the God that made this universe, in which you're not. You see what I'm saying? It's a certain lane. Okay? It's a certain lane. Okay? So, so again, notice I said your higher self, meaning that this is nothing separate from you. This is your future goals. As long as you're serious about it, this is your future, all of that. The stuff that you plan on doing is your higher self. If you plan something to do something later on that day as a goal, your higher self is however you gonna be at the end of the day once you accomplish that goal. That was your higher self you was talking about. When you was talking about that goal, you was talking about your higher self, because what you had to do afterwards is a certain configuration. After that result happened, it was a certain configuration that happened to your mind, your spirit, that made you go have to do something else. Maybe change your plans because you thought something else, right? So your higher self is the change that's inevitable, and what changed you was for the better, right? So a simple plan can be looked at as higher self. Okay? Let's demystify some things. Because people love the higher self, and you got to praise me in that state whenever I say that. And matter of fact, that's me right now. So matter of fact, you got to praise me. Nah, like, some people don't even deserve that shit. Even women, how this book be talking about giving praise. Yes, give them praise, but work in respect to their nature and yours. Don't make somebody's head so big that the cup bursts and you can't ever fill the shit up again. You see what I'm saying? Like, some people are past the point to where readjustment is impossible in this lifetime. You see what I'm saying? Some people are looking past this lifetime, saying this lifetime ain't shit. I'm going to just not do shit. This lifetime ain't real. Nothing's real. And therefore, they don't even act on this reality in a way that's keep them moving. They stagnant. They still. They just body. They ain't doing nothing in the situation. Ain't going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? They're not working with the divine feminine. The feminine is the gas. That's going to put the fire on your ass. The masculine is still. That's the point. The feminine is when you go inside the point and be like, oh shit, this is the whole world. It's a whole, and you get lost in it and be like, everything's moving, you know what I mean, type of thing. So the point is the masculine, the still. The chaotic is the feminine, the woman, right? The emotions, right? This is why emotions make a poor master, right? Because this is the whole thing of balance. Mind is man. They say mastermind. Man, the masculine principle, represents mastery. Okay, Mr. How they say Mr. Bay, Mr. Williams. That means master. That's masculine. Mr. also means more. Okay, spiritual mastery. Okay, this is, so you shouldn't, like, you know, when the whole thing of a patriarch and stuff like that, there's certain balances. Okay, predominantly this should be a matriarchal system. The patriarch side of the system should be the infrastructure. Okay. Reading is masculine. It encourages your testosterone to grow. Does that mean women should not read? No. That means it's a balance. You see what I'm saying? Does that mean women should not make or write the laws because that requires a lot of reading? No. That just means men should be the one dealing or enforcing or writing the laws, or I should say enforcing the laws and writing, while the woman or the matriarchal side, the women of the government, deal with more so the education, right? The nurturing side, the approval, the foresight of, okay, I see how the emotions can sway with this nation or group of people if we do this. So I see how the men of our government want to do this, but we have this energetic or spiritual suggestion. If we look at this according to this and according to this, because women work behind closed doors. This is why you see a lot of masculine or men teaching when it comes to spirituality and stuff like that, especially in the Moorish movement and stuff like that, opposed to women, because teaching itself is masculine. You see what I'm saying? Women deal with more of the ushering in of the higher frequencies. So we double check to say, hey, before we emanate, before we spit this out, before I make it a dick, before I erect this something and make it a principle, right? The oblique disc or the oblique. So before I do that or make it a masculine principle, you make it subtle first, right? It starts subtle because it starts with thought, but it ends with the subtle. Okay, everything's come back to self, meaning that everything can be 1, 2, 3 as the real numbers. Everything can be 3, 6, 9 as the only real numbers. Everything can be zeros and ones as the only real numbers. But ultimately, we're all coming from one point, and that's 0. That's the Bindu point, right? So you can say 3, 6, 9. You can say zeros and ones. You can say all of that stuff. But ultimately, we're coming from one point here. Unity. And that doesn't mean you have to try to force unity on other nations. It simply means minding your fucking business. Knowing how to stay out of that shit. Knowing how not to indulge with people. Certain people. Knowing how not to indulge with fools. Knowing when to keep your mouth shut. That's feminine. That's listening. That's being receptive to self-reflection. It causes you... Well, anyway. So, to go on, it says the way you relate to your woman, the way you relate to your woman's chaos reflects the way you react to the chaos of the world. Again, people that don't get no pussy and that's always crabby, always want to argue, probably because they don't deal with the divine feminine in no type of way, whether it's being humble to their own ego or getting pussy. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's where that comes from. You know, why you always in a bad mood? Go get some pussy. Get this nigga some pussy. Type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is actually, I'm about to, because I got it recording on my other phone. But I'm about to stop this because I'm about to edit this video. And I'm about to send this onto live or onto my YouTube. So I'm about to delete this one. Okay. Whatever. So, and thank you, by the way. So it says, when you as a man are in neutral, quote unquote, your woman is projecting masculinity most times by making decisions, etc. Then the relationship will make it seem more like friends. So if your woman is doing more so the decision making, it's gonna seem like friends. My YouTube channel is the Spirit Alchemy channel. I'm about to put it in the chat thing. So when your girl is making decisions, that causes her to be in her masculine principles of self. So what happens is that this causes a separation, because the goal is unity. But as a man, or if whoever the masculine principle is in that relationship, if y'all both women, if y'all both men, I don't know what floats your boat. But because at this point, I'm just talking about higher frequency. I'm just talking about occult mindset. Like, fuck what the appearance is. You see what I'm saying? Even though there is a, I ain't talking about, we ain't talking about going gay. Okay, let's just put it that way. But, that's another story. So, okay, I'm going to just read the next note. If you are uncomfortable with your attraction to women, then you're probably uncomfortable with your own masculine essence. Okay? So if you feel that you're how they say, why are men intimidated by women who are successful? If you are one of those men, you know what I'm saying? This note was for you, If you are uncomfortable with your attraction to women, if you feel intimidated or get uncomfortable, then you're probably not comfortable with your own masculine essence. Now, don't take that to offense. What this simply means is responsibility. Don't take that to offense. What that simply means is your ability to respond. Okay? Respond to what? That energy or whatever made you intimidated, if you know it. Okay? Your ability to respond. And you got to break down your perception like that so it'll be easier for you to work with. Your ability to respond responsibility is a masculine thing. Again, that doesn't mean strictly for men. Women deal with masculine principles too, right? Just like the man deals with feminine principles too. But, and excuse me if I keep saying that, I just feel like new people hopping on and be like, some people like to argue. You know what I mean? They like to take anything, like, you trying to uplift something, they find something, some way. You know what I mean? Just like, how did you get negativity out of this? You must be a dog that just got hurt. They bark. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. You're like, what are you saying? What are you just saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you got to be comfortable with your masculine essence, meaning that you have to be comfortable with a way of projecting a way to get what you want. You got to find an answer. You find that answer, guess what? Boom! That's a masculine thing. Why? Because a thought is heavy according to where it just came from. So once something reasons to your mind, damn, that makes sense. It just became heavier. It just became more masculine. We are thoughts. We are embodied. We are light, right? Light in the lightest sense would be the lightest thing ever. But how much do you weigh and how much do I weigh? You see what I'm saying? So there's degrees and levels to this, but also we have to reason with reality. We can't just think, everything on our head is going to be the answer when, truthfully, throughout this video, only one, maybe two sentences are the sentence for you. You see what I'm saying? Type of thing. Truthfully, you shouldn't look at your natal chart like, hey, the bigger picture, and you try to look at the biggest thing that can happen. No, it's so small. It could be something as simple as the switch up when you was eating your food and it made you not want to eat it no more, type of thing, and now just changing energy for the day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't got nothing to do with the bigger picture a lot of times, like directly. You know what I'm saying? Unless you put yourself on that standpoint or on that level to deal with that standpoint spiritually. So a woman with sexual essence will be all over the place emotionally. Change her mind constantly. more sensitive to the subtle energies and flows in your relationship. Bring delight and awe in the ecstasy, both sexually and spiritually, in that her body expresses freely. Okay, so those are the signs and symptoms of a woman tapped into her divine feminine, right? So let's go over this one more time. If you're all over the place emotionally, meaning that's a good thing. That means you're in your bag spiritually. You're always mixing up the fucking medicine. You're just eye to eye with God or your highest self continuously, which is continuously growing and changing. You're eye to eye with the divine feminine or the most subtle aspect of life that you can perceive, right? And you feel it brewing, but don't know what it is yet. Okay? So to be all over the place emotionally, it's a good way and a bad way. You don't want to just be toxic with it and be like, yeah, you got to put up with my bullshit type of thing. Like, nah, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be balanced. You see what I'm saying? In a way that, yes, a man has to put up with your bullshit, but only in the ways that's respectable to your nature and his. Meaning that a lot of people are taking that situation, what I just said, and we'll take that, what I just said, over the top. You know what I'm saying? As far as, you know, the putting up with your bullshit. Because, you know, for the general woman, that's going to make her smile. Like, you know what? I think I like what's being said here. That's cool. But don't let that overflow your cup. Right? Because once you do, too much of anything is bad. And at the same time, to have that thought in a healthy manner is to know that you can play ping pong. Your ego can play ping pong with the energy that you know you need to make it grow. You're not going to hit the ball up to heaven and expect it to come down and wait for it and be like with the tennis racket. No, you reaching way up top. You going too high. You need to start what's in front of you, right? Hit it a little bit higher, right? A little bit over your head. Okay, it's going to come back to you, right? You're going to see how to reason with shit as the season changes. But nonetheless, deal with what's in front of you. Okay, so to be emotionally all over the place changes her mind constantly, i.e. channelers, right? Ignoring them actually makes it worse. Yeah, ignoring them actually makes it worse. And it's funny because ignoring them, a lot of times it actually makes it worse. Sometimes, ignoring is a pretty harsh thing to emanate or just do. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to make sure you do that out of love or do it in control. You know what I mean? When it's clear that you're doing something to help her be in control of herself, but you got to be in control of the situation to do that. You know what I mean? So, in order to, for a woman to submit, you got to prove and show that you're worthy enough to show her. And she will do that. You see what I'm saying? Because energetically, that's what'll happen naturally. You see what I'm saying? So, and again, this doesn't go for every person. Some women are more masculine than men. So they might hear this and be like, yo, I can do whatever. I can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go lift that, whatever, whatever. That may be their nature. You see what I'm saying? But there's a certain balance. And that balance is different for everybody. More sensitive to subtle energies and flows in a relationship. brings delight and awe in the ecstasy, right? Brings delight, the light. She brings delight or delight. What is delight? That's happiness, right? What is happiness? It was inspiration. You see what I'm saying? Both sexually and spiritually, right? And that her body expresses freely. Now, in order for a woman to bring the light or the light, let's just talk about sex here, right? Because this is the grounded way for union, right? The two triangles. This is the grounded way for union. When a man penetrates, now think in terms of energy too, physical and energy. When a man penetrates the woman, this the man, this the woman. The man on top of the woman, right? If a man is penetrating the woman, remember this is energy too. It's energy too. If the man is penetrating the woman, right? And the woman is to bring the light. So this is direction, purpose, intent, and the light. She's bringing in the light, meaning that she's ushering in the higher aspects, right? So the thing is to create a spark, like the wood, right? Create a spark, right? What is wood in Chinese medicine? The liver. What is liver? To live. What are you trying to do? Create life, right? The spark. Okay. When a man is penetrating the woman who brings the light or the light, inspiration, which would give the man happiness and inspiration and beyond, willpower, all that type of stuff, rejuve mindset, rejuve way of life, rejuve perspective, rejuvenated perspective. I got lazy. I said rejuved. Rejuvenated perspective. So what the woman is to do, the science of the woman ushering in the light or the light, is the science of learning how to submit to her higher self. How does she submit to her higher self? Well, she has to make the situation like a ritual, right? Just like the man does. That has to submit to the divine feminine, right? So we can both, or they can both emanate the divine masculine, which is have something to show for. Having a baby is emanating divine masculine. Now you got something to show for. You change the situation. You got you all this type of stuff. You know, tantric sex, all this type of stuff. You got all these results. Now you have this divine masculine, right? Something to show for. What the woman is to do is to submit herself to the situation, which does include submitting to the man, if the man is worthy. So she has a choice to make. If that man is not worthy, then that man is not to be submitted to. Now, we're not talking about I have control over you in the physical aspect. Like, let me speak. You don't speak. You don't talk. We ain't talking about that. Okay? We're talking about learning how to, you know how synonyms, you got a word, right? A word has synonyms, right? Though that word means a specific thing. Let's just take absolute. The word absolute means, it has synonyms, right? So it also means complete. Complete also means whole. Whole also means perfect. Now, would you go up to the average person and think that they're perfect? Or say that they're perfect? No. Could you say that they're whole? It's a little bit more fitting to this reality, right? Now, you ain't gonna tell somebody they're perfect when their ego is not ready. You'll tell somebody they're whole. Yes, you're complete. Well, whoa, don't complete mean perfect? Whoa, so you basically said I'm perfect. Yeah, I did. You see what I'm saying? So there's a certain degrees. Though it's the same thing, there's certain degrees that you need to work with. Okay? So though absolute means whole, whole means complete, complete means perfect, you have to know the true stage that you're in instead of in terms of working with those words and realizations. Because when people say perfect, they tend to get big-headed and miss out on a lot of things. You say whole, that's a little bit more humbling. You say complete, that's pretty acceptable. Humbling too, right? Absolute, you might throw somebody off. You're absolute. You mean I'm blunt? Or you mean I'm strong? Or firm? Like, what you mean by that? Well, look it up. Complete. Oh, perfect. You mean I'm perfect? Complete, whole? And they just walk off. You gotta know the degrees. Only you know. Okay? Only you know. Because a conversation can go fly by that quick and somebody can say, you gotta be perfect. So we perfect. We got something. And literally, that person really meant whole. We're complete. We're absolute. But they get to project in a different type of world by using different symbols and languages and words that's not necessarily in alignment with the image they're trying to project. Right? Therefore, you get a lot of church hand claps more than you get actual change. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, a woman is to bring the light by knowing how to work with the energy. She's to know how to grasp the man, how to make him inspired, how to be his fantasy. She has to know what the next move is, because as a woman or anybody gets older, they age. So their body tends to not be as lively, vital, energetic, useful. So they can't depend on a certain attraction that they once can depend on. These bodily attractions are surface level, right? It's for the outside. It's for the eyes, the two eyes, right? But that's saying right there that this stage, as young as you are in your consciousness right now, however age you are, you're going to be older in the next 20 years, right? Obviously. So your consciousness is going to have a lot more experiences. So right now, while you have your younger or your youth, your more younger age, or whatever age you are, you have the ability to work with it before it gets to a certain stage. This is initiation. Okay, so if you know how to work with the wisdom past the physical body, if you know how to work with the wisdom past the physical attraction, past the surface level, now you're working with the levels of the spirit body, or how to attract love or deeper light, or light before it becomes a photon. That's what the woman's job is, to know how to direct a man from that way, or nurture a man from that way, because that's the direction for a man, nurture. You see what I'm saying? So he gives him inspiration. That way, when y'all have sex, he's catapulted in a new level, and now he can see how he needs to work this direction now. You see what I'm saying? He say, oh, well, shit. Well, it's kind of like how I went through. Oh, shit. I was doing the more shit that way, but damn, I need to do it this way. And it was a big fucking rock for me. You see what I'm saying? But it takes a certain type of humility, which is a feminine aspect, a divine feminine aspect, a certain type of humbleness, all of that. You see? So, and shout out to Bree, because she the one that gave me this book, or put me on this book. So, it says, my next note says, you will only be happy in intimacy if you choose a woman who is your sexual reciprocal. Okay. So you want to do that because as a man, you're saying you're a lower self compared to a woman. So we're saying man is lower self, woman is higher self. Or masculine, whether you're a man or not, man or woman, is lower self, and feminine, whether you're man or woman, is the higher self, right? So you should deal with sex like yeah. Your phone or your sex basically should be your like the woman you having sex with should be able to be taught to how to catapult your consciousness or your spirit onto higher planes, which is a bundle of a whole bunch of techniques. But you need to work in respect to your own degree. So if you are very matured as a person, you see what I'm saying? You might like mature women unless you're going for a certain type of other path in spirituality where you want to stay enlivened. You're trying to bring life. You have to work in respect to your own nature and goals. Some people doing some of this stuff without direction or purpose or intent. Like they have direction, but it's no purpose. It's no real intent behind this. You see what I'm saying? Not a sturdy one. So, you gotta have purpose. My next note says, if you feel I said that already. Oh, here we go. It says, men like polygamy because we expect our intimate relationship to serve so many purposes. Polygamy was used widely and used to fulfill more than one duty or purpose instead of one woman doing it all, which isn't realistic. Each partner fulfilled a different purpose, contribute to different skills, functions, and sexual energies. Don't expect so many purposes from one woman. It begins to veer towards the ulterior. Okay, so, and peace, bro. Don't expect, and this is the whole. It doesn't have to be polygamy in the sense of you physically have many women, or in a relationship with many different women. You can have those 1 or 2, 3, however many men or women that you can talk to on a friendly level and say, again, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you, but you come off as a certain inspiration. You come off as a certain motivation. Okay, and I can use you. I can use that. Maybe you can use that. Maybe I can be beneficial to you so I don't waste your time as I'm speaking to you. You see what I'm saying? This type of thing. Because that's what we got to get used to. One thing that, again, that European mindset, he's my man, she's my man. Some people take that to the head to where they look at somebody else and now they just all in the wrong. Like attractiveness ain't out there. You see what I'm saying? But that's one way to work with the ego, though. It's saying, hey, I remember Bobby Hemmett saying, he said, I take a compliment, a man looking at my woman is a compliment. Right? Because what it's saying is, he's like, would you rather nobody look at your woman? Because then it'll be assaultive, like you made the wrong choice. You know what I'm saying? So, no. You gotta, work on your ego. So, polygamy is that'll come in a phase where the Great Spirit has ushered in, when we make enough room by pushing our ego to a side and ushering in that type of reality. And so you see the ego of the world, or where it's at right now, is very thick. And so polygamy ain't about to happen for a good little minute. Okay. So And kudos to you if you're doing that to now, in a harmonious manner. If you want your woman to be your spiritual and sexual consort, not just your housemate, you must skillfully maintain your household and livelihoods so that the potency of your union is not diminished. Okay? So you can have goals. Don't just be out here, try to be holistic. Don't have one topic to focus on. You know what I mean? Doling out everything else. Making every aspect of your relationship inactive except that one or two things. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to not think sometimes. I gotta tell myself that. I overwork. I go to work. On the way, all through work, I'm listening to something about the law. I get off work. I get in the shower. In the shower, I'm listening to something about law. When I get out the shower, I smoke, read something about law. Sometimes I'm like that. I'll just be on it because I'm mentally, I'm aggressive. I'm an aggressive learner. And I got to catch myself and say, hey, I got to hieroglyph myself damn near sometimes. Knock myself out. Go to sleep. Chill out. You ain't doing shit today. Sit on your ass. Rest. You know what I'm saying? Just do a couple Qigong techniques. That's it. Don't do shit else. You know what I'm saying? Self-discipline. Oh, this is a good one. Self-discipline is not self-suppression. Suppression is when you resist and fight against your desires. Keeping them buried and unexpressed as possible. Self-discipline is when your highest desires rule your lesser desires, not through resistance, but through loving action grounded in understanding and compassion. Now, let me read that again. Self-discipline is not self-suppression. Suppression is when you resist and fight against your desires, keeping them buried and unexpressed as possible. That's when you fight and resist. Damn, she bad. I mean, shit, can't ever look at a girl again. Can't ever look at a girl again. You fighting, you resisting, you suppressing them. That's not harmonious. That's senses that's making a connection with your nerves. You just perceiving it wrong, and you cause them to shut down. You're not working with that energy right. You see what I'm saying? That's like dogma that you don't like, but you forcing yourself to think about. If it don't work for you, don't do that. Now, what I'm saying is a balance to everything. I'm not saying if you see another woman or another man, if you're a woman looking at this, in respect to your other nature or your other attraction. If you're looking at another man or woman and you in a relationship, of course you don't want to eyeball another woman. That's disrespect on another level. On the occultic side, on the higher side, on the other side of things, you got to think about why you're doing that. Was it because you were told not to do that? Because your woman just got on your ass and you just can't ever express yourself? That sounds like suppression. That sounds like prison, damn near. But that sounds like suppression. So you have to find ways to bloom out of that humanistic sick mindset into one that's more open, of an open shape, one you can maneuver around with with more comfort, right? So, even if you're a vegan or vegetarian, eating meat sometimes, it's not gonna kill you. At the same time, you just gotta deal with whatever the too much of anything is not good. Trying to be too pure, trying to be too spiritual, trying to be too much of a pH balanced motherfucker, is going to cause you to be sick in this realm. Okay? Trying to be too spiritual that you're of no earthly good. You know what I'm saying? You're so spiritual that you're actually destroying this world because everything that you got to say sounds so chaotic, so divinely feminine, destructive, that you think everything got to be so destructively put in negative that you can't relate with nobody. You see what I'm saying? You are more that you can't do business or can't be industrious because you're not doing it and not doing nothing right and don't want to admit it. You got to work with the divine feminine. You got to humble yourself. What is going wrong? You see what I'm saying? Direction has to make the connection. The only way that can happen is if you humble yourself to your own self. Okay? Especially when you've shown better. When you show better, when you know better, you do better, right? You can't do better if you're not working with a certain reality of yourself that can change. You're only as real as you can keep it with yourself. So if you know it's greener on the other side of the grass, but you think that your water that's tap water and something like that, this specific water is making this grass green or whatever, but you keep trying to use this water and it's the only way that the only way that you can get green is if you change something, right? So, well, I'm not going to say that. But anyways, it says self-discipline is when your highest desires rule your lesser desires. Meaning, it's no problem for you to change. Because change is the only thing promised. Right? That is that unwavering truth. What is that? Allah or God or whatever God you're worshiping. That's the unwavering principle. Right? Me as a Muslim or us as Muslims, we say Allah, which is all law. You know, it's a way of saying all law. Right? So if that unwavering principle, that truth that doesn't change, but it changes. It doesn't change itself, right? I tweeted this the other day. Truth doesn't change itself, but it does change. Okay? Meaning that it's God, Allah, whoever the fuck you believe in, has always been that. But what changed was your whole world because it controls these whole worlds. What is it? This, we ain't gonna get into that point. But just know that your highest self or energy or your highest perspective of yourself is this God that you're talking about. You just can't see it yet. Okay, especially if you don't have a purpose, we work on that, right? You may not be able to see that aspect of your highest self yet, right? But when you grab touch, that side that you thought was once hazy that you never could see, you see what I'm saying? It keeps going, right? So, okay. Told you I got a lot of pages. I'm surprised they let me stay alive this long. Once your woman feels you need her more than she needs you, she'll lose trust in your masculinity core. If she feels your femininity is stronger than hers, like wanting to have intimacy more than her, she'll naturally turn on her masculine. So, that's pretty self-explanatory. It just needs a balance. Okay, so don't focus on trying to be Rico Suave too hard, too much. Okay. What she wants is not what she says. Sometimes a woman will make a request not to get him to do something, but it's her seeing if you'll do what's right. Again, the woman is emotionally based, right? Predominantly coming from the feminine aspect. The logical aspect is the words, right? Which everybody has, right? Now, if 80% of the subconscious rules your life, or 90% some say, or the divine feminine, or the more yin side to your yang, rules your life, think about how much weight words have. Words don't mean shit, right? It's the actions that make a change behavior, right? Actions ain't all words all the time, right? It's what you do. I mean, you can snap on somebody and do that, yeah. But, I mean, you about that life, though. You know what I'm saying? What you do. So, you know, if you're a very feminine man, which is not a bad thing, it just means you're a strong healer. If you're a very feminine man, hopefully not gay in that type of feminine aspect. Well, I ain't gonna say hopefully, it's a bad thing. But if you're a very feminine man, you know, and for the record, I'm not gay. But if you're a very feminine man, you have to put yourself in a certain setting in order to find respect from certain women. Okay, so, and by that I mean, you know, very, you know, feminine people, feminine men are usually masseuse, therapists, you know, Reiki masters, things of that nature. You know, to be a predominantly feminine man, like you have a lot of water and air in your chart, you know what I mean? No earth, little fire type of thing, you know, all that. Then what I'm saying is you have to know your nature and know the other person's nature in order to find the respectful medium. You know what I'm saying? Nurses, flight attendants, all that, right? So, and that's another thing. If you a male nurse, I mean, financially, yeah, you can put it down, but you still just gotta operate different. You know what I'm saying? You a masculine nurse? Is you strong? Can you emanate another masculine sphere of life that can cancel out the other feminine qualities that may be attacking your life? Not by other people, but just by your job. You see what I'm saying? You know, is you like the game? And, you know, what they said he was. What was it they said? They said it was the game of Dr. Dre. One of them people who call it a sex hotline. You know what I'm saying? You doing that? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, it's probably going to be hard to find somebody, but you just got to put yourself in a certain setting. You know what I'm saying? Like, is you a male stripper? You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably wouldn't be able to find, is you a porn star? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably going to be hard to find somebody if you setting yourself in certain feminine aspects or spheres or jobs. So if you're a feminine man, I would say a very predominant feminine man, I would say be of service that can help you emanate your masculine principles more. You see what I'm saying? Like therapy, masseuse, all that type of stuff. Right? So, just to continue with the notes. It says her trust is endangered, not by him fulfilling her requests, but by him magnifying love, consciousness, and success in their lives, in spite of her requests. So love is the smallest vehicle that you can use, and the best vehicle that you can use to change not only your woman's behavior, but any situation. That's why it's the first principle. That's why it's the highest principle. That's what we came through. That's what we ushered. Everything. You see what I'm saying? So even the things that don't come from love, that's like saying Satan didn't come from God in a story and all these mythologies. Like, there's no Bendu point here. You see what I'm saying? So when we say things don't come from love, we're talking about the most lowest aspects of love that would say it's not from love. We're not saying, like, that's kind of like saying a human without melanin or carbon, knowing that it's the basis of life. You just don't have so much of it, or you might have a lot of it. You see what I'm saying? In order to do or not to do something. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's the pole is one pole. It's just opposite sides. Okay? So it's not to say, people come out of love or people don't come out of love. There's no such thing as people don't come out of love. That's like saying fear is actually real when it's really you the one making it real. It's like saying this reality is real, but it's really like it's real, but compared to a lot of stuff, it's only 10%. Does that mean we only need to handle it like it's only 10%? No, you need to handle it like motherfucking 110%. In terms of reality. Because when we talk about, this is off track, when we talk about this twin flame shit and shit like this, or reincarnation, or anything, there's no one way that reincarnation works or twin flame works. You can be a person who just coming in this lifetime, it's your first time in this lifetime, but you having dreams of ancient people, all these ancestors coming to talk to you, all this type of stuff, these past life regressions so-called, or whatever the fuck. And really, that's just expressions of your DNA that was set here before you that you just came into for the first time. With your chaotic ass, because you probably... Well, anyways. So, that's different from a person who incarnated or reincarnated opposed to, different experience or different loopholes. Okay, there's not one story on this earth that you can say is the same as the next. You telling me that there's the same solution? Like, it's not, it don't work the same for everybody. It's a different gate, it's a different doorway. Okay, so when you say the Anunnaki, they was really doing it for the souls and the gold. It was, they wasn't doing it for the gold. And yes, they was. They wasn't doing it for the, like, everything. You see what I'm saying? It's just degrees. You know what I'm saying? It's degrees. Bro, what's weird is I remember my art teacher asking my mom, did we go traveling? What you mean by that? What you mean by that? Yeah, expound on what you mean by that. We can go on, but so it says, don't be swayed by her request, even though she asks for it. So he showed her some of my art. It was depiction of my okay, I see what you're getting. Yeah, the Mayan temples, and especially the Hindu art and all that type of stuff, that deals with a lot. If y'all seen Doctor Strange 2, the part where they go out of dimensions and dimension to dimension to dimension to dimension, and it goes on, they go to like 20 different dimensions. That kind of relates to how he said the Mayan, the art of the Mayan temples and the Hindu stuff, because they trying to express many dimensions. You know what I'm saying? In one picture, it's like many words. You know what they say, 1,000 words. A picture is 1,000 words. So, yeah, that. So, don't be swayed by her requests, even though she asks for it. She won't be disappointed if she feels you are strong and clear in your true direction of your heart. And if she is disappointed in your deepest truth, you shouldn't be with her. So, when she says something as a request, you should do something. Right? Now, take it into consideration. Right? it might be true that you need to do that thing, right? Women can be logical. We know this because there are, what they call it. What was I saying earlier? They're the dogma, which is the dog star, the dogmatic, the subconscious mind, the priestess, the bitch, the witch, right? That's what dogma is, right? The one who can say, hey, I have an opinion and I have a principle. That's what dogma means. If you look it up, the etymology, I have an opinion, meaning I can see things. I'm kind of weary. It's about to be a belief here in a second, but I have an opinion. It's about to turn into a principle. Who's doing this? The women behind closed doors is doing the so-called magic, which is truly just intimate manifestation with their partner, like tantra. Once you reach a certain love. You see what I'm saying? So, in this love, well, anyway. So, let me see. So it says, don't be swayed, right? She won't be disappointed if she feels you are strong and clear in your true direction of your heart. So if you don't have no direction, no purpose, no intent, let's just use purpose. Because intent is too wavering. Direction is too wavering. People can say anything about those words. Let's just say purpose. What's your purpose in life? If you don't have no purpose in life, then what you're saying is that you're only so much of the man that you can be. Okay? In which that is saying that you're only so much of the security that you can be. In which that is saying that you can only give her so much security that you can't give her. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, and these are notes from the book The Way of the Superior Man, right? By David, I forgot his last name. But so I'm adding my own dialogue into this as well. I'm just reading off some notes and some points that I took from it. So, because this book, it really didn't go into the occult side of it. You can tell that this person, I just put it like this. This person may say namaste a lot. And may say namaste a lot. And, may irritate some left-hand path people. Because people, they get to saying namaste too much. It'd be like, hold on, man. Now, this word has been coined in a certain sphere of this reality. And that's usually the love and light too soft motherfuckers. I don't like to look at it at one side, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But this is a union. You know what I mean? Because like I said, this book didn't explain the occultic side. It explained the metaphysical side, but it didn't explain the occultic side or the deeper side or the realistic side that I know that my people can relate to. You know what I'm saying? So it says, and if she is disappointed by your deepest truth, you should not be with her. So this is the homework for the woman at this point. If she is disappointed in your deepest truth, right, then you shouldn't be with her, right? So as a man, right, remember when they said earlier in the book, as a man or anybody with that masculine principle, whether man or woman, predominantly, because you could be with another woman or another man if you float that way. If they are disappointed in your deepest truth, you should not be with her. And I'm only gonna promote straight shit for real. But and even that in a certain way of women on women, because that's straight. man on man, nah, it ain't straight. And then woman on woman is only straight in the highest degrees of life, in ways of life that we ain't even ready for, like polygamy. So let's not even go there. Let's just not even go there. Talking about women can get pregnant from the sun. Okay. Yeah, it's real. But in whose reality is that happening in? The one that got to get the test tubes and certain things done to her to enable for that to happen? Damn near locked up, put in prison, all this type of stuff because people are not even ready for that to happen. They're not ready. Women are not ready to bring in that light, the light. Happiness in that type of aspect. Yet. Even though they can. We got to be realistic. People talking about astral wars before they talking about real life solutions. We got to be realistic, man. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff is talking about touchdown, and you ain't even put the cleats on yet. The ball is still flat. Nobody's here. And you're at the field. The game ain't started. Talking about, I'm getting this touchdown right now. You jumping the gun. Deal with time. Patience. Degree by degree. Okay? So, it just really irritates me when people get to talking about astral wars. And, I mean, that's a story in itself. Not trying to kill the aspect like it's not real. But you can weigh out how actual it is to that person if you weigh out how actual or how serious means heaviness, weight, density, how serious they're taking the rest of their life, right? You don't want to be the druggy scapegoat saying this, right? You don't want to be the person that got to get high all the fucking time and simply talk about aliens and what they doing in inner earth and everything about what's in front of your face right now because you too pussy to deal with it. You don't want to do that. Okay? You don't want to do that. So, it says your word is a demonstration of your purpose. Your masculine of your masculine core. So you keep your word. That's masculine. Right? Keeping your word is a masculine thing, masculine trait. Whether you're a woman or a man. Okay. You gotta look at it like this. Ida and Pingala. Right? Ida, feminine, Pingala, penis. Right? Man, masculine, right? Whether you man or woman, you gotta bounce back and forth with the shit. Okay, you gotta, in order to go up and down, to make a strike like a lightning bolt, electricity, in order to make things erect, charge, go, you gotta deal with both. Type of thing. Okay. So this ain't just men or just women. Your word is a demonstration of your purpose, of your masculine core. When you don't follow through with what you say, you're going to do. When you don't follow through with what you're going to say or do, she feels your masculine core is weak. The more relaxed she, and this is the next note, the more relaxed she is in her feminine, the more radiant she'll be. If you want your woman to be relaxed in her feminine and shine her natural radiance, then you must relieve her of the necessity to be in charge. Okay? Remember, masculine is control. What is control? Control the situation. Okay? You control. Now remember, we're in a state of having to destroy a certain part of ourselves if it's not already been destroyed. But you have to know what has to be destroyed, right? And what doesn't need to be destroyed at the time in order to build up. Okay? So some things don't require you to build up yet, right? Because it hasn't been destroyed. You're trying to build it on layers. Talking about you at the core. No. Right? Let's continue to. Well, actually, let's talk about it like this, because it says, if you want your woman to be relaxed in her feminine and shine her natural radiance, then you must relieve her of the necessity to be in charge. Let's just talk about energy. Let's just talk about frequency and energy. A man penetrates, just like the penis, right? Penetrates. You direct. You say, hey, I see your art, baby. Right? Look at this. Right? And you show her herself. And she be like, damn, that's what you see in me? And that right there, that direction for her to see herself in the moment is you taking it deeper and you penetrating. Right? The hidden is, what you have to do is, if direction is like a dick, logic is like a dick, right? You penetrating the energy, right? In order to get something out of you and her, right? And if you ain't getting something out of you, you doing something with what's inside of you, right? So you penetrating for a reason, right? This reason, accountability and responsibility, is a masculine thing. It's not listen to what I said. Responsibility and accountability is a masculine trait. That doesn't strictly mean that it's a man's trait, because masculine is in both women and men, just like feminine is in both women and men. But being that you may be a more predominant man, a masculine man, or neutral, a man none the least, if you're a man that's watching this, if you have a certain masculinity as a man, even if you're more of a feminine masculine man, you're here as a man, meaning that don't change up the checks change, trying to take away that little percentage that makes you a man, or what you was called here to do, right? You're trying to change up the wheel or reinvent the wheel, which is just need to be refined, right? And so, to get the woman to relax is to show her relaxation. Not tell her how to be relaxed. You have to show her relaxation. To get respect, you got to give it. Right? Now, words are only so much. What are you really giving? That's the 10%. That's like giving somebody a plate. Hey, yeah, baby, I'm about to cook for you. You show up with a plate of mashed potatoes and that's it. What? But don't play with me like that. You know what I'm saying? So, if you come like that, she just gonna look at you like, this is your masculinity. This is you showing the world. This is the world. This is you bringing me the world. This is the world right here. This is what you can do for me. And I'm not saying cooking, but I'm saying providing, security, all that type of stuff, building, showing her how to get rid of your ego. That's a masculine thing. That's why the woman ain't rising yet, because the woman is like the number 9. We want to talk about the number aspect, but we'll jump straight to the number 9. How? We got to talk about the number 1 first. Ain't the number 1 the dick? The masculine thing? The erect? The singularity? The logic? You see what I'm saying? So, in order to show, just how they say, when the world rise, when the woman rise, the world rise. Well, you ain't going to get to 9 unless you start with 1. Ego. What is that? a masculine thing that's in everybody. But guess what? The masculine predominant person, which is the man, has to show how to do that. It's been teaching, but now we're talking about in terms of your actual relationship with people. Whether you in a relationship with a woman or friends and all that type of stuff. Because then they say that the way you penetrate your woman is the way you penetrate the world, or the way you treat your woman is the way you treat the world, right? Because this is a certain, when you're talking about divine feminine, you're talking about the outermost. So when you step into the outermost, or the representation, or the external, which is a representation of the internal outermost, you're stepping into the outside soul, or the soul outside itself. The soul inside of you, yeah, but the soul is outside too. And it's just a reflection of the inside. So when you step outside into the real world and handle divine feminine the other way, or tantra in that way, because tantra is not just sex, it's the orgasmic part of life, breathing in, being intimate that way with yourself, right? Intimacy just don't mean, type of thing. So in order to, the ego dropping is not to say what it is, but to show what it is. Now, how can we get to the smallest part of our heart space? We have to be subtle with ourselves, right? Once you know what to do, you got to do better until you don't know what to do and figure it out again. That's what the man does. You figure the shit out, right? Don't nobody want to hear your sorrows. You complain to your woman, she's not going to believe in you, nigga. She's not going to trust you. What are you complaining to her for? You sound like, I can't do this. Like, this, and this is going to create a square. You keep doing this is going to create a house. You tell me you can't do that? You can't be her security. You can't align the solution. You see what I'm saying? So, it starts with knowing, which is the logic. But remember, men are not going to have women figured out. So you know it's going to be a stump. So don't let you not knowing discourage. Work with what you know until you can groove your way, or work with the feminine. Because remember, the feminine brings you into the body like music does, right? Until you can groove or more your way into the point to where you know you need to go in order to grow, right? So don't let the unknown discourage you. You see a woman that's, above your caliber, don't let that shit discourage you. Just look at the shit and be like, you know what? I'm about to use you as homework. And what you really got to do is step the fuck outside of yourself. You have to, it's some things that you may admire, but it don't fit your ego. It don't fit your nature to express that way. You might listen to music that you only listen to by yourself, because when you by everybody else, you don't feel comfortable because you can't express yourself around society or that way, right? You're not comfortable with that masculine essence of yourself in order to show something. This goes for both men and women. You see? So to go, what it goes to show is the process of the union of masculine and feminine, right? So if you want your woman to be relaxed again, in the feminine, and shine her natural radiance, then you must relieve her of the necessity to be in charge. Okay, you must relieve her of the necessity to have to let go of ego, accountability, responsibility, the ability to respond. You have to get her outside of the mindset of thinking that she has to be the one to initiate something. Sometimes she does. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not kill the aspect of that. Sometimes it is good for the woman to initiate some things. But as a man, or that whatever masculine, woman on woman, or whatever you're doing, as the masculine part of it, again, masculine just don't strictly mean man. As the man, right, you have to show a woman to drop ego, knowing that ego is a masculine trait itself. You have to show that in a loving nature, meaning not use words, but in order to penetrate that in the deepest space of your heart, which is divine feminine, you trying to reach itself, that's the goal right there. When you get the answer from the woman, that's just the secondary confirmation. Internally, we're talking about a reflection in your heart, depending on how your serious, your purposes, all that type of stuff. Your degrees with her, right? You may be in a polygamous relationship where you got to compare to multiple women, right? So it's an outside reflection of what's inside. Okay, so when men, I want a woman to submit to me. So in this, what happened again when you show her how to submit by how love. Okay, you show her when she's nagging, doing something that you don't like, how the book said. When she's doing something you don't like, hey, you know what? I love it when you're doing this. I love you. Do. You initiate love because she's more emotion than it is logic, right? You saying, hey, I see that point in the chaos. I see that peaceful point in chaos, and I'm going for that point. And I love you, baby, type of thing. You see what I'm saying? But just to calm the fight, because you can't go into the house, unprepared, without a certain mindset, without a certain tactic, a plan, a goal. You don't know where to go. What you saving? You don't know if you're gonna be upstairs, downstairs. You downstairs the whole time. They upstairs. Y'all all dead. You know what I'm saying? So love is the small. It's lighter than the atom. Right? It's lighter than light itself. It's where light comes from. It's dark light. It's the peace within dark light itself that gives dark light any direction to be the most it's kind of like sperm. How it's the most divine thing. Like it's all divine lanes that come into one point and they be like, whoop. Like they all knew. Them spirits all knew they wasn't getting in there. Niggas just fucking around. Niggas just wasting time. Just like some of your spirits around you now. Or your friends or family around you now. Niggas just wasting time. You see what I'm saying? But it takes love, right, to bind something. Right? So you speak from love when you have a certain intent. You act from love when you have a certain intent. You don't act irrationally, without a purpose, all that type of stuff. So let's continue. Because I do have a lot to... not too much. But, and again, for y'all just tapping in, this is from the book, The Way of the Superior Man. All right. So it says, if you are afraid to yield to yourself completely in the ecstasy of physical love with your woman, going beyond all senses of self-control and separation of self, is your heart and her heart, of your heart and her heart, is one in the midst of absolutely abandoned passion that you will also be afraid to yield to yourself completely in the divine feminine. So basically, if you can't yield to yourself, you can't show her how to yield to herself. So your techniques as a master, as a Mr. A, Mr. Williams, your techniques, your right? It has to be able to be of such mastery to show her how to master divine feminine, because this is where this is coming from, or this is where you getting your confirmation from, this outside of yourself. The thing is that the goal is to make the exoteric and the esoteric one, right? So you can bring the inside out and the outside in, right? How can you do that? By knocking down barriers. It's kind of like You ever had that one sexual or few sexual things that you wanted to do in sex, and it always was in your head, but you never acted on it? I always want to smack a woman, bring out that side of her, that monster side. That side. You ever got to that point to where you having sex and the woman basically comes out with the like she may be coming, but you tell she getting on a charge, like she want to take control of your ass, like she want. That's that rage coming out of her, right? So that's that you getting deeper, and you need to know what the fuck you about to do, right? Not in terms of taming it in that physical aspect. That's one little aspect of it. I'm talking about in terms of that, in the follow up, into the because we're talking about character here. We're not talking about just energy. Like, oh, it's energy of Kali. It's chaotic. We know what chaos looks like. It's like, urgh. We ain't just talking about that. We talking about how this integrates with your character, which is your spirit bodies, which is your chakras. Your personality is the lower self way of saying character, which is the exoteric way of saying chakras. So it's all the same thing. So a changed behavior is the best behavior because you know that actions speak louder than words, or energy hit deeper than words, right? Even though words are energy, right? Words are worlds. But what we're ultimately saying here is that in order for you to hit deeper, you have to keep it real with you. You got to be holistic. That don't mean you have to be at the same tier as this person, doing what they do, right? Or what they say sound good. Like, that don't mean if all this shit sound good, like if all what I'm saying right here sound good, and you be going back to your relationship like, okay, well, how can I add my own imprint to this type of thing? Just use this. If you find a helpful aspect, you trying to put your own imprint on it. Use all of what I'm saying as assistance, but be like this. Be like, man, fuck that nigga. Fuck with his advice. Just to kill out the aspect of dependency of your spirit on another spirit. Trying to trying to piggyback on somebody else's astral stories. Trying to piggyback on what somebody else say heaven is, or this reality is, let alone for real shit. But because remember, chaos hit harder than the strongest man would. Divine feminine would hit harder than the strongest man would. Are we talking about physical? No. Because it's just like Fajin. If you know what Fajin is. Fajin is fighting with the force, not your strength. Right? Some people, like boxers are fight with their strength. Boxers are fight with their strength. Right? They muscles, they tendons, right? Aggression. Fajin, you fighting with force. That means that motherfucker just gotta come around and do the simplest thing on your ass. On some quick boop, nigga, boop. In a certain fashion, not just like that. But I'm saying like in a way to where they don't even have to get rah-rah with you and hear your ass go flying back. Like just doop. Like you know what I'm saying? You just got took out. Because you're working with something that penetrates the physical, created the physical, and can destroy the physical, can heal the physical, all of that type of stuff. It's beyond the physical, meaning it's beyond the masculine. Okay? So we have to remember, then I got some more notes here, that this aspect of Tantra is a forever thing. It's a every moment thing. You know, the moment where you hear something and you feel the it's kind of like a flower. I forgot what type of flower they call. You know, the flowers that got the things that fly off of it. The little white things that fly with the seeds attached to it. They fly off of it. If you shake it, it's like a whole bunch that fly off. We got to think of our spirit bodies like that sometimes, right? You hit it, free ions, you get that burst of energy that, like, damn, somebody said some truth, you get the, damn, right? Dandelions, that's what they call it, dandelions. You see the dandelions go they different ways, right? That's you hearing the truth and your electrons trying to turn it into free ions or trying to grab more electrons to bring in. So it's doing like, and you know, you got stuff floating. You know, you don't have that many electrons attached because you don't have much bring you down, right? So because it's the rest, in a sense, right? So this is the less active part, right? You're stretching your mind, right? So when you're doing this is the aspect of letting the ego go, or the perfect state that you want to be in to build or readjust your ego. Okay? You can simply readjust somebody else's ego by breathing. When you speak, that's the mind, right? In action. When you breathe, that's the mind in action. If it goes beyond words, fuck speaking sometimes. Dead it. Right? Use the mental tactics, the psychic mind that controls the breath, right? Into the person that you know you got to put the message in, right? The mind and the breath, the higher self and the lower self, right? This is in a sense. You got the message with the breath, the message with the force, right? You go and communicate with this person. You breathe a certain way, right? A lot of times, this is the answer. Why? Because your conscious mind is that egotistical part that really don't need to be speaking all the time. It's about what you do. How punctual can you be? It's about your poise. Not poise as in, how many times can I hit you hard? No, I'm talking about poise is the right time. Knowing when to say something, when to do something, when not to say something, when not to do something. Knowing how to dance with the energy in the room. You ever look at somebody and, you know, before they look at you, you try to, and then they turn their head, you look at them again, right? You have to do that with your consciousness in terms of knowing how to flow in the room, in your situation, in your tone, in your life, in your thoughts, in your actions, all that. Right? Even right now, there's a certain depth. My words are taking you somewhere. They're doing something like this. Words are spirits. Words move you. Where are you moving to? When you move this way, was it a certain energy that you were in? Did it release anything? Did it make you realize something? Right? You always got to dance with the devil. What is the devil? Your lower self. Your body. Just reality. See what I'm saying? Logic. See what I'm saying? Masculinity. Even though there's divine Ego is divine. It's just how you look at it. So, again, I'm going to read that last note. It says, if you are afraid to yield to yourself completely in the ecstasy of physical love, meaning that if you too scared to, you know, do what you want to do in that sex, you know, your fantasy, you got to make your fantasy come a reality, right? If you want to do that, then you're going to have to find a medium to do that. But you going to be scared? You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying slap the women up in sex. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, you know how it is. Come on now. So, If you are afraid to yield to yourself completely in the ecstasy of physical love with your woman, going beyond all senses of self-control separates self, so the heart and her heart are not one, in the midst of absolute abandoned passion, right? So this causes you not to express the true freedom that you want to express. So when you try to express it another time, and sex should be the deepest, most rawest, intimate time where you can show your freedom, it's not going to make sense, because you got to start in the soil. You got to put the seed in the dirt. You see what I'm saying? The union is when the union happens. Now, I'm not saying you can't be a union all the time, because that's the goal. To be a union, like when y'all fucking, even when y'all not fucking. You see what I'm saying? You want to be that orgasmic with life. Different aspects of life, right? So he says, you must be as fearless with your sexual desire as you are with your spiritual desire. You gotta be as fierce and as fearless as you are with your sexual desire. Is that what you are with your spiritual desire? Right? So women, you gotta check them. Men, you gotta check them. They want to fuck all the time? Okay. Well, what that spiritual desire looking like? Because you ain't about to just be taking my energy. I got plans to do later on. I got a purpose to fulfill later on. You ain't about to just steal or take or be a succubus or incubus to my energy just because you got a lower self-desire with no plans. You see what I'm saying? Just because you don't want to reflect on yourself. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it's bad to just strictly have sex strictly for the physical. No. Because it's good not to think sometimes. To know that it's all good regardless if you don't think. Because you know. Right? You know what I'm saying? So it goes on to say, and I'm almost there, I'm on the last page of notes here. This is crazy. Instagram let me talk this whole time. This is crazy. So that's crazy. But it says most men lose themselves in sports, orgasms, etc. But make sure you also do so in love. Love should only remain. Right? So just as excited as you get about sports or whatever the fuck you get excited about, you should do the same when it comes to this occult or your spiritual path in terms of fear, growth, intimacy, love, all that type of stuff. Right? And the best way to do that, you got to remember, all this stuff we know we need to do. All this stuff we know is serious. Some of this stuff is too serious. We know that. That's why half of the folks running from it. It may be too serious. But what needs to be done as far as the psycho-spiritual level? One solution is laugh a little bit. Right? Naturally, whether or not, when it makes sense, naturally, whether or not you're going to act on it deeper and cause your atoms and your cells to prepare the rest of your body and mindset for that. Okay? This is the right and the left side of the brain. The right side being the creative and the left side being the serious logical side. Right? So when life hitting you with the left too much, go right, right? Loosen up a little bit. Right? Laugh a little bit. Do something in a, like I said earlier. Watch it. It can be simple as your spiritual path. Homework can be simple as watching a comedy to open up your heart chakra. As long as you got a certain intent. I will tell you that this Cat Williams is a pretty good comedy to do that with, because what he does is usher in or talk about a lot of the serious aspects of life, like the jab, like race and all that type of stuff, politics, a lot of the uncomfortable stuff these days, and he's causing people to laugh in ways that, in perspectives, that's causing them to be like, you know what, maybe it ain't so hard to talk about that. Right? When Ab-Soul came out with songs like, yeah, it's cool to be a loser, you know, all that type of stuff. How many people you thought that help express themselves as far as depression or all that type of stuff? You see what I'm saying? You gotta twist what your problems, make that your own praise or your own, money type of thing. But the thing is that you have to work with yourself day in and day out, moment by moment, thought by thought, situation by situation, in the degrees that's respectable to your own nature. And that's what people miss out on. Degrees that's respectable to your own nature. Hold on right quick, y'all. I gotta get my charger right quick. Just a second. So that's what people miss out on a lot. The degrees that's respectable to their own nature. Because they keep the comparing. They like the way that they should do things with everybody else. They get the projecting their consciousness too much, i.e. speaking before they really understand something. They hear something from a video, now I know it. Because I told you. No, man. Come on now. So, it says, do everything you wanted to do with her as your freedom begins to blossom. This helps you channel love beyond the need of control, i.e. an ego death. So, as you in Tantra is an example. Again, this video is not about Tantra, but you can use this as a great way to perceive a deeper love. And we're just talking about the aspects of sex as one of the deepest, right? It says, do everything you want to do with her as your freedom begins to blossom. How does your freedom begin to blossom? You got to have the courage, the confidence, the willpower to begin to act on something different. Now, again, you can easily measure this when tensions are high like sex, right? You can easily measure this. What did you always want to do? It's right there in your head, right? It's a strong pleasure that you always wanted to come face to face with. Is you going to do it or not? It's obvious at sex. It's pretty fucking obvious. In an argument, it can be argued. It's obvious, right? It can be, because people say some wacky shit sometimes. So that's why I say it can be. But when the tensions are high, that's when the truth is easily seen and penetrated. Okay. Just like drinking. When they say drinking, the truth come out. When chaos or a lot of potential to do something is right there, it's easy to see. It's fucking easy to see. Because your desires is going to call. It's going to call you to do something. And it's going to be easy to see. It's going to be like somebody come up and punch you, your wife, your child, your grandmama, your mama, your granddaddy, disrespect you, spit on you. You spit on your mama, spit on your child, spit on your wife, stepped on your J's. It's like you gotta work with degrees that you see necessary with your own nature, okay, to be able to say, hey, I can turn this Superman into I'm the man type of thing. But you have to have the freedom, the courage, the exploration, the will to be an adventurer for the divine feminine. You have to be in that aspect. You got to want to lose yourself enough to be able to say, hey, I'm about to do this shit, because what it's about to do is it's going to attract her more, for one. For two, it's going to set the tone for your deeper freedom. Because now that she seen you smack her one time and that turned her on in sex, right? You know, some people like that. If she seen you do that, and you did that one time, and that was the time that she got the wettest, that's the time when she said she had the best sex, why the fuck would you stop? Why would you stop there? No, you set the tone for a different expression of freedom for you, right? You're trying to continue painting your art. So don't stop there, right? And we can get outside of sex, right? Even with your job. You see what I'm saying? You may have to step into it, wear a different hat, do a different character to get a certain type of respect. You see what I'm saying? You got to step outside of yourself regardless and express your freedom, right? So, and doing it out of love is what attracts through it all. So, it says, beneath the nice veneer of most women lies the wrathful goddess who could chop the head of every new age man. Now that's what the book say on page 147 of the book, The Way of the Superior Man. Okay. Beneath the nice veneer of most women lies the wrathful goddess who would chop the head off of every new age man. Now remember, what did Bobby say? The women turning into monsters. What did your experience say when you was having sex with your woman in that one time? Nah, not much longer. I'm almost done with these notes. I'm on my last page. Okay. I'm using the charger too. Okay. So it say, beneath the nice veneer of most women lies the wrathful goddess who could chop the head off of every new age woman. This is because, for one, new age men soft. For two, that's why niggas is pissed. For two, let me read this right quick. Yeah, the alcohol is a spirit of negativity, henceforth why it's called spirits. Nothing lively about drinking whatsoever. And that is correct. That is correct. Now, the thing about alcohol is that, for one, we know that the Moors or us dark-skinned people made it for a science, a specific purpose. And alcohol is a dangerous thing, right? You can lose yourself. You have walk-ins, people with spirits, all this type of negative stuff can easily happen to you and destroy many parts of you physically, spiritually, emotionally, all this type of stuff. The thing is that liquor is chaos in a bottle. So it's not smart to act on it without being that Bendu point. Meaning that in order to drink this and take it to its highest usage spiritually would be to just drink it. I'll put it like this. It go water, wine, liquor. Hard liquor, I mean. So you got water as, clear, pure, and was good for you. Raise your pH. Then you got wine that can be good for your pH and can be bad for you. It's in the middle. Then you have liquor, which is get straight to the point. But if you're dealing with it, you better know what the fuck you're doing. Type of thing. On top of that, you can't drink much of it. You can drink a lot of water, drink a little bit of wine, okay? Don't get too carried away. You drink a little bit of motherfucking liquor. don't get too carried away type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's all water. It's do you want to say, hey, water, everything is water. I mean, so when I say, you're drinking a bottle of water, you saying, hey, peace, love, and light, namaste. Not saying that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you want to do. You want to aim for peace. Same time, you want to have some wine sometimes. You want to express yourself, is what I mean. Not physically have to drink wine, but you want to, because this is alchemical. You know what I'm saying? The people who feel like they need wine in order to access something alchemical, internal, well, that's the people who may need physical surgery too, to fix a problem. Some people need that. Some people need, what is that called? Sunscreen. Even dark-skinned people. Simply because they diet so fucked up that if they go out in the sun, just like the white people, they gonna burn too. They thoughts so fucked up. They thoughts is like pork. Pork frequency. That there ain't no way that the sun gonna protect their ass. Because the sun dealing with the heat is talking about dealing with a higher frequency, a heavier responsibility, a more immediate response is needed type of thing. So even, our dark-skinned people need sunscreen. You know what I mean, type of thing. But I'm only saying that to say that ain't nothing in this world bad. It's only how you look at it, and it's only how you work with it. Okay, so just take the sunscreen aspect, like I just said. Some dark-skinned people need it, some dark-skinned people don't. Why? Because some dark-skinned people think like shit, some dark-skinned people eat like shit. Go in the sun, they can't stay outside for more than an hour. Talking about it's too hot. Talking about all that type of stuff when melanin is supposed to absorb. Right? So this is just talking about the quality of your own spirit, the quality of your own, all that, spirit bodies and shit. Right? So back to this book. Back to that statement. Beneath the nice veneer of most women lies the wrathful goddess who would chop the head off of most every new age man. Okay? So, you know how the women like to, again, a lot of women, it was a phase in the spiritual community where more women got big-headed once they started to hear the black woman is God type of thing. This caused certain women to get, not all, to get big-headed. Now, this would not be the time to give praise to that group or people who think like that necessarily or too much, because they already think like that. It's time to master another sphere to activate their Merkaba, right? Not saying that you shouldn't give her praise, but you wouldn't give praise to somebody who is fresh into consciousness and you about to tell them something that can fuck their ass up. You know what I'm saying? And you know it could fuck their ass up. You know what I mean? It could be the best thing too. It could be good, but they not ready for it. You see what I'm saying? Remember, this is the energy transference that you're doing. So praise them in respects to their own consciousness, in respects to your own consciousness. Right? Some people are a good gift giver. Well, use that to your own, to your benefits, and to somebody else's benefits, so it can benefit you. Again, and go back and forth, right? Not to say you tally marking, but do that, right? Use your advantages, respectfully. So it says the divine masculine is about penetrating your woman's tensions with uncompromising love. Okay. Penetrating your woman's tensions, meaning when she nagging, going by her, rag, shooting a red rag rants. Don't get to trying to tame that. You tame it by love. That's what she's looking for. Okay. That's how you can get her to do what you want to do, because you got to give what she wants. This is a back and forth thing. Magnesium and electricity brings life. You want to feel vitality, you gotta give to get. Right? So, I was gonna say something else, but fuck that. She wants to feel your persistence in loving capacity to stand strong in your own desires and ravish her because you love her, unafraid of her dark energy. So divine masculine and divine feminine, meaning they're both equal. That don't mean man get down and praise like that. We ain't talking about the egotistical shit here. That's not going to actually change character. That's not, we're talking about real adept adulthood spirituality, not no, oh, he said don't praise her. What the fuck is this nigga talking about? But, so it says, let me tap more into my feminine because that shit, I'd annoyed the fuck out of myself. So she wants to feel this dark masculine capacity, not simply because she wants to be ravished, but because it's a sign of your overall capacity to face and know death, your own and others. And it is this capacity that makes you a trustable man. So let me just give the back story to that. Not the back story, but what it was saying in the book before that quote I just read. It was talking about you ravishing a woman, or i.e. you trying to express your freedom and control or take control of the situation of your woman or something. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to control the situation. So it says she wants to feel this dark masculine capacity. She wants to feel your control, right? The woman truly does want to submit. Because what is that truly saying? Hey, black woman, you can put your feet up. Because ain't that what the most women who's negating that fact saying anyway? They want to be praised. The ones who's arguing, I say that. Well, every woman want to be praised and should be praised. But some people make an argument out of anything positive. It could be anything. Like I posted the aspect of, on Twitter, I said, accountability is a masculine trait. Right? Again, that doesn't mean it's for strictly men. I just said it's a masculine trait, which means it's for men and women, because both men and women have masculine and feminine traits. So, accountability is a masculine trait, right? Accountability just means accountant. It means account. What is an account? What is an accountant? Accountant handles money. It deposits money, takes out money. Now, what is accountability if you were in relations to yourself, even if you're not an accountant? When you deposit money, you're creating more zeros, i.e. creating more space, because you're depositing money or integrating money or investing in yourself, i.e. creating more of a purpose, more room to bring in light, more room to work with light. So being accountable is simply managing harmoniously your responsibilities or what happened. That's it. It ain't gotta be you gotta admit to something. It ain't gotta be you gotta show your humility for somebody else. It's somebody else's ego. Motherfucker be like, humble your ego. And they think that's a term for them to use against somebody else. No. It's for you to use against yourself. You see what I'm saying? I remember one time me and my fiance was arguing. And this is one of our first fucking arguments ever. You know what I'm saying? But when we first got together, and I remember before I even read this book, having to show her, having to feel compelled to show her how humble or how much I was working with the divine feminine when I was but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the part where I humble myself. Literally, I was like, I was going off about something. And then the next moment, literally the next breath, I didn't even have a chance to get the period out of there. The next breath, I was like, I don't mean something. I'm just upset. Da, 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 da. Then I went right back to snapping. You know what I'm saying? It's like a bipolar motherfucker. But it was in control and not bipolar because it was actually in harmony. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't have a bipolar aspect. It had a oneness aspect to it. Okay. So I'm going to read that again. Right? So it says, she wants to feel your persistence in loving. Wait, is that the part? No, that ain't the part. It says, she wants to feel this dark masculine capacity, not simply because she wants to be ravished, but it's a sign. But because it's a sign of your overall capacity to face and know death, meaning to face your own ego. Right. So when you expressing your freedom, when you finally found this gateway, this opportunity, this moment to express your freedom, right? And bypass your ego, just like sex, because it's easy to relate to this. Most people can see their limits of their ego in sex, saying, I can do this. I'm going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to turn this into that fantasy. You can come face to face with your own fucking ego in arguments, high tension activity like sex, arguments, things like that. Right? Even sports events. Even fucking working out. Right? It's about the mindset. So it says she wants this dark capacity basically so because it proves that you can know death, i.e. face your own ego, so you can show her how to face her ego, not by telling her, by literally showing her through love. You got to be gentle with the baby. Your baby, not baby as baby consciousness, but oh yeah, that's my baby, that's my baby. You got to be gentle with her in terms of transferring your point across and not in terms of just words. I'm talking about speaking to the heart, working with the heart. Okay. But to work with love is to work with something you got to tear down first, which is your ego. Okay. Your ego. So, before I read what's on the screen, it says, she wants you to show this basically so you can prove to her how much you know and can face death. It is this capacity that makes you a trustable man, i.e. you can face the world without being unwavered, and she can trust that you can face the world without being unwavered. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, my ego is not under control as I like it to be, and that's fine. Shit, all of ours is like that. That's the whole point. The whole thing is you won't have your ego under control until you, for one, i.e., which is the only thing, die. And I'm not saying you gotta die as in it's gotta be bad. Like some people meditate out this fucking realm, so they got their ego enough under control to, which is basically easing God out. So ego is basically your chakras, how much what you emanate. You're easing God out. You're expressing. That's just the anagram for it, right? It's many anagrams for that. So easing God out is what you can say, because your ego blocks certain veils. It gets it's what gets comfortable in spaces. And so if uncomfortability or change is the only thing promised, then we want to get comfortable with what's uncomfortable, not comfortable with something that's scared to get uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? So when we learn how to manage these free ions, or what makes us uncomfortable continuously, causing these free ions, when we learn how to work with these ions, like we got 8 arms and continuously, or 1,000,000 arms, or arms, to keep your Merkaba intact, keep your thoughts intact, to know that each and every arm isn't necessarily you thinking about each and every thought. Sometimes it's you working not to think about something. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes work is not necessarily work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're trying to make it your playground, light as possible. Okay. So it says the knowledge of death makes you humble and courageous. The knowledge of death strips the armor of the heart and allows knowledge of love. This knowledge of love is the doorway through your own fears. Yeah, no problem, by the way. So it says that this knowledge is the love. This knowledge of love is the doorway through your own fears, meaning that it's the smallest, like, you know how to say nanoparticle is the smallest size that you can get in a nano. Love is the smallest size or vehicle that your spirit can move in order to change something. Okay. So it's not aggression, right? It's not words, right? It's the love that can penetrate to the deepest cell. That cells are the cosmic intelligence, and the cosmic intelligence can then program you to naturally and continuously change. Okay. But what you must do is reprogram your cells, the divine cosmic intelligence, right? Because don't nobody tell the cells what the fuck to do, right? Their cells can be immortal as fuck. Henrietta Lacks, right? Cells are immortal. It's just that niggas be killing shit. Niggas fear kills. So it says the secret is to match her energy with consciousness demonstrated through your body, right? So demonstrated through your body language, your spirit bodies, meaning it's not just your physical body, it's your emotional body, so-called, your causal body, so-called. All these is really just one body, but it's different aspects of this one body. How we say spirit bodies, it's really just one spirit body. It's just different aspects of this spirit body. My arm don't do what my leg do. My leg don't do what my eye do. You know what I'm saying? It's different aspects. You got to describe yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your stomach, your head. They say neurons in your head and your stomach. Where's the soul? Where's the mind? What you got to... It's all the same contribution. It's all the same thing. We just talking about different aspects. The mind is the spirit, the soul is... Soul to spirit, which one is more important? What we gotta listen to? All that type of stuff. It's like saying, damn, if I got a pain in my leg, do I gotta listen to it? But the pain in my heart, that's when it's supposed to die, right? So I think leg ain't gonna matter like that. So you get chopped up and now you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. But, so if you wanna keep your DNA, I think he meant keep your DNA. Don't give it to ancestry looking for cells like H. Lax. Yeah, and that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to describe both aspects, because life is a contradiction. So I like to describe both aspects in a healthy manner. You know what I mean? I like to play the devil with myself. Type of thing. So. Just like bro said, don't give it to ancestry.com. Hell no. For one, it's really no both ways to go with ancestry.com, because that shit is all a scam. Like, they ain't telling you nothing true. Like, that's been admitted by the people that work for ancestry.com and shit. But, just more so along the lines of this world. this fear type of thing. And I'm not saying that what bro just said was fear and shit like that, because I mean it is true. We shouldn't be giving shit like that. But fear has a lot of times where people say, I'll put it like this, in the aspect of when people say Freemasons, you just get to talking about how they rule the world and how we gotta fight them and all this type of stuff. They focusing on the wrong, they putting their energy in the wrong basket. Because all of that is, I don't care if it's from concentration camps, from, even though they are happening now, to the most outrageous thing, taking you inner earth, you know, and keeping you hostage for whatever. I don't care what it is. Human trafficking, run up in your house, taking whoever. I don't care what it is. What we got to do is stop putting our energy into something that can't provide us the next step as far as solutions. Because putting ourselves into a system that's not meant for us, i.e. physical, political, spiritual, emotional, all of that, it's the same. It's not just the system like we're talking about paperwork and jobs and physical and cars and where you got to register something. We're talking about a physical, spiritual, emotional, all that thing. The way you think, that's the system we're talking about, the way you think. That's what we're talking about, not who you're selling out to or whatever. That's another story. But you already sold yourself out when you started to think a certain way. You see what I'm saying? So, which is giving us, or giving people, I see a lot of people on Twitter spend most times speaking about the fucked up situations and never follow through with a solution, let alone a solution that they're demonstrating or can show for. Complaint after complaint, argument after argument, point the finger after pointing the finger. Right? These are people who are stuck in the masculine side, the egotistical side, the logical side, the black and white side. Right? So, and that covers a lot of groups of people, a lot. So I almost got tired thinking about that. But it says, the secret is to match her energy with consciousness demonstrated through your body. So, meaning that you have to go to show. You can't be all talk. You have to go to show. You have to show what you have to demonstrate. What is demonstrate? Demon. The demon is straight. The demon is good. The demon is actually called a daemon, which means guide. But you want to be guided? Your higher self is your guide. What, that ain't a daemon? You see what I'm saying? What, a teacher ain't a daemon? Yeah. What they call him? Fucking guardian angel. Ain't your daemon? Your spiritual guide. Ain't your daemon? You see what I'm saying? So it's as simple as this. At one point in life, I used to look at the word alchemy. Like, man, that's a word this. And I was spiritual, so-called at the time. Or spiritual on a certain level. And I was looking like, man, that word alchemy looked like, that's a serious aspect for me, boy. I'm going to leave that for the people who deal with chemistry. Little did I know. What I was studying at the time was guiding me to a certain point. Why? Because when I seen that word alchemy, that showed me where my limit was. That said, I'm putting a top on your head. You ain't rising no more above this. And this word is showing you where your limits is. And word by word is showing you your box of where your comfort, where you're stuck at. It's showing you your limits. People reacting to you, to your actions, those way that you're seeing them, they're showing you your limits. They're showing you a reflection of you, how you should work with the world, how the world will respond, how you need to adjust in order to work with the world, right? So this demonstration, Damon is not just bad. Okay, demonstration is what we all want. Right? We can see that etymology. Let's talk about the word, right? Demonstrate. What is it to demonstrate? To show in the physical or in a more dense level, because you got to show it. You can't just speak about it. You got to demonstrate it, which means it's brought down to a dense, serious, lower aspect, a masculine aspect, meaning that it's a demon because it has to be brought down in order for you to show, in order for it to show. So if it was the opposite way around, maybe we can call it angel-strated. You see what I'm saying? But that's what it actually is. It's just guiding you to higher aspects. So that alchemy word, when I said, damn, I think I'm ready for this word, and I read it, I studied it, I said, damn, I've been ready for this word. You see what I'm saying? Because now it guided me to a new limit, a new box, a new shape, an open shape, until I can open it some more to where I'm nothingness. When will you reach that? At death. Or at least ego death after ego death after ego death, until you have this ego death, which is easing God out, right? The external version. There's a manifestation of what happens when you ease God out. You see what I'm saying? So the secret is to match her energy with consciousness, because that's what she is. That's what the divine feminine is, the absolute nothingness, the chaotic. The secret is to match her energy with consciousness, demonstrated, the divine feminine demonstrated, brought to a lower physical, logical aspect of love. Not just brought lower, like we just lower vibrations. No, a lower aspect of love, because in order for God to understand itself, it has to see itself. In order for that divine feminine, that woman, to see the divine feminine, it has to see its reflect. How can you show her? How can you be a mirror for her? You see what I'm saying? In order to do that, you have to say, hey, you have to look at me and see yourself. That ego is like a curtain. It's a veil. You have to knock that shit out the way in yourself first as a man in order for her to see it. You see what I'm saying? This quest should be fun. It shouldn't be because these words may sound blunt to some people, maybe. It may sound encouraging. That's how you can measure how much of a superior man you are. Because it's all about accountability and responsibility. It's the principles that make the man, not the money and all that type of stuff. What you standing on. Is it unwavering like God type of thing? Because the more you practice to be like it, the more you can prove to be unwavering and more attractive to the right woman. Because remember, if the woman is not appreciative of your deepest truth, your deepest advice, your deepest goals, aspirations, your deepest words to her, then you should not be with her. She's not ready. Okay, don't take that as an offense, but take that as a learning point. It's a saying, anybody from A to Z, from Christian to Muslim to the most spiritual to the woody-woody-wah, you should be able to have a medium of some sort if you are the master. I mean, you got to indulge with everybody with the food or whatever type of stuff, but you should have a medium where that's to say something or not. Both can be an answer. You see? So, and the last point, surprisingly, which is honestly just the last point in this notebook, because I took notes on this book, and I got way more notes than what I'm saying now, but it's the last point that I'm making for this video. A woman's true radiance reveals the degrees to which she is open, trusting, connected, and loving. Okay. A woman's true radiance reveals the degrees to which she is open, trusting, connected, and loving. So if she is not open, trusting, connected, and loving, well, that says everything about how tapped in she is and how radiant she is as a divine feminine, so-called. Because as a body emanating divine feminine, your job is to nurture. So if she's not showing qualities of nurture, good nurturing skills, grace, humbleness, which sounds like humility and all that, or submission and all that type of stuff, which you can say that. But if you're looking at it in a bad aspect, all you gonna think is you can't, you don't have the freedom of speech, that type of submission, type of thing. You just start to infringe on rights at that point. Okay. So the radiance, it has a lot to do with simply breathing techniques for one on a basic level. Strengthening your aura by strengthening your lungs. Okay. And in this way, a woman can, do the basics as far as being radiant. Okay, not necessarily putting add-ons on your face or, extra shit. But dealing with the primary feminine principles of life itself is the highest quality of a woman radiating at a high vibration, i.e., peace. A woman is peace. The thing is that it goes, woman is chaos and peace. Men is peace and chaos, if you want to say. Right? So both are the same, except construed differently, made differently, right? For obvious reasons. But the thing is, if it's a man is just peace or just logic, just simplicity type of thing, that aspect of peace. And the woman is peace as far as learning to replenish, falling in love with raising vibration, right? While the man is the plane, the woman is the trance that raised to the higher plane. So it kind of makes a cross. But this is the sturdy, this is what changes the sturdy, right? Or refines it. So if you ever seen the picture of a loophole, how, you got, that, and you got the wormhole, and then you got that. This is the man, the planes, the foundation, the whew. The woman is the 4D or the inner earth, or the what expands the plane type of thing, or the depths of it type of thing. Hey, peace, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on YouTube too. So those are pretty much the basic ways to see if a woman is radiating high. If she's trusting, open, and open is important because we can be basic with these terms. Yeah, you can trust me. Yeah, I'm loyal. Yeah. Everybody got a pussy. Everybody got a butthole. Everybody got a opinion. Not everybody got a pussy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too general. And we have to narrow this down for the adept or the adulthood who are, I'm not talking about paying bills, and I'm not talking about none of that basic shit. I'm talking about real deal, occult, spiritual change that the average man is not familiar with how to do. Okay? For a reason. So that pretty much concludes this video. I'm gonna post this on YouTube, and I'm gonna make more videos similar fashion to this, because it's important in order for us to uplift fallen humanity, we have to learn how to uplift ourselves first in the degrees that's right or necessary. I want to say right, but necessary for you. So if you struggling with showing love, then you need to measure out, write a list of things, measure out what's too much for you as far as stepping out your character and what's not too much for you. Look up your natal chart, see what you're naturally good at, see what you naturally shine at. Use that. See what your Venus is in. All that. Check your partner. Analyze your partner. Do all of that. If you ain't got no partner, then find a feminine aspect of life. You don't have to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? A woman is just the best thing. What you want to do, talk to a female statue? A feminine statue? Okay. But, so that's my time, y'all. I'm going to go do some other things. So I'm gonna make some more videos like this, like I said, based on other books, other notes, and things of that nature. All right. So I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. Peace.